Graydman will look to get back on track as he gets the start in Game 2. Kendall has had a tough start to this 2018 season, but it's early and there's plenty of time to rebound. A's, Mariners, next. It is another cold, damp night here in Seattle. We are at Safeco Field for Game 2 of the 3-game series, and the A's will give the baseball to Kendall Graydman, looking for his first win of the year. It's the A's and the Mariners coming up on NBC Sports California, powered by Xfinity. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Oakland A's Baseball. Along with Ray Fossey, I'm Glenn Kuiper. Kendall Graydman will be making his 4th start of the year. It's been a tough start for him and Ray. The A's with their young rotation, they need Kendall Graydman to be good this year, and he's got to get going.
Too many negative numbers for Kendall Graydman. More home runs than he's ever given up early in the season. He's not pitching a lot of innings. He's giving up more hits. The biggest thing for Kendall Graydman, the velocity. He's trying to throw sometimes too hard, which takes it through his sinking fastball. He's a ground ball pitcher. As Scott Emerson said, let him get tired, because that means the ball might be sinking a little bit more. He needs to pitch deep in the ball game. He needs to get quick outs.
And help the bullpen out a little bit as well. Last night, the A's bullpen gave up 6 hits, 5 runs, and Ray, if you keep going to these guys too much, they're going to struggle, and the long ball has been a problem.
Well, this is the negatives again. We're seeing this in 3 games, or 3 pitchers on this road trip. Too many long balls, and Emilio Pagan. But last night probably was the biggest, because Chris Hatcher pitched in a game in which the A's had hoped they could hang on and win by 1 run. But this is what happened last night. Cut fastball, ran back on the inside part of the plate. A 3-run home run. He'd give up a 2-run home run a little bit later. But to your point, Kai, very well taken, that if the starter goes deep, then you don't have to use as many guys in the bullpen. You can go to the setup, the closer, and let's win a ball game.
All right, so after a tough loss last night, the A's will try to bounce back tonight behind the right-hander, Kendall Graydman. Up next, we'll head back inside the A's pregame live studios and then back here to Seattle for Game 2 of the series.
by Toyota, designed for the grind that comes through every time. See your local Toyota dealer today. Toyota, let's go places. By Southwest Airlines, low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. And by Jack in the Box. Try the new Cholula Buttery Jack, part of the Buttery Jack family. Only at Jack in the Box.
People heading into Safeco Field here in Seattle, and it's wet.
Yes,
it's raining outside, but we're okay indoors. Sort of indoors anyways, as we like to say. Game time weather presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. The boardwalk is open. Visit beachboardwalk.com for park hours. And right now it's 48 degrees. And Ray and I, we were chatting before and said it's a little bit cooler than it was last night, even though we're starting an hour earlier.
Cap, how warm do you think it is or cold it is? Is it in the party deck out there? You know, what do you think?
You know what? It's very warm.
About 100
and as
degrees.
the night goes on, it gets much, much warmer.
It gets colder every place else, but the party deck, it gets warmer.
That's exactly right, yeah. It was full at 5 o'clock.
That's right. Gates open, full. Well, it's Armed Forces Night, and this is a very nice evening. A lot of the soldiers lining up on both lines, and the A's players are kind of mingling with the soldiers, as well as the Mariners on the first base side, and the national anthem, the American flag in center field. And a very, very nice tribute to the Armed Forces. And there's a bunch of them on the field right now. And the umpires are in trouble because somebody's ready to throw a first pitch, and there's somebody back there behind the umpires. They better get out of the way, because let's go. Get out of there. Come on, come on. Now they're coming out.
So that is their starting pitcher, Marco Gonzalez, the lefty. And the Mariners in the all-white uniforms tonight. A's are in all gray. And let's take a look at the Athletics starting lineup, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Here it is. Simeon, Canna. Mark Canna's in left. And Lowry, Davis, Chapman, Olson, Lucroy, Piscotti, and Trace Thompson. Thompson will be in center field.
And the A's will see a lefty. They've seen a few on this trip. They'll continue to see a few more. It's Marco Gonzalez. Saw him last year as he was acquired from the St. Louis Cardinals. He pitched out of the bullpen, pitched 4 innings in relief. That's the only time the A's have seen him. Not really overpowering with any of his pitches, but fastball upper 80s, low 90s. He's got a cutter, he's got a curveball, a changeup. Just a kind of a finesse, crafty left-hander, I guess you could say. We'll see how the A's right-handed lineup does against him tonight. Few lefties in the lineup, but mostly right-handers.
So Gonzalez finishes up his warm-up tosses. Tough loss last night for the Athletics. They thought they had one, but it was not the case. 7-4 Mariners victory. So I guess some losses are a little bit more disappointing than others, Ray, and last night was very disappointing. Yeah,
the skipper talked about how difficult it was last night, the loss, and you know, you bring certain guys in, but you know, when you make moves, people say, well, the manager makes the move. I said, well, he's making the move that's right for the situation. It's just a matter of the particular guys fulfilling the chores they have, and unfortunately, it not really happened last night. So the A's a loss in the opener of the series, even though they were trying to get 12 outs, hanging on to the 1-run lead, but could not do it.
Well, I guess it's the right move when it works. I mean, ultimately, that's what it comes down to. And
hey, it's raining out too.
Even though the manager has lots of reasons why he does things, and they're all very, very legitimate reasons. But
you know, there's so many matchups in the game today, and that's what it happens. And for Kendall Graveman, he's the starting pitcher. And the one thing about his ERA, which is above 9, and we talk about relief pitchers, it's hard for them to get a high ERA down. But for a starter, he can have a good game, and all of a sudden it's going to drop dramatically and continue to go down based on putting some zeros up.
So we are set for baseball from Safeco Field as Marco Gonzalez, the 26-year-old left-hander, looks like he's going to pitch from the stretch. And first pitch of the game to Simeon is in for a strike. Simeon, Canna, and Lowry for the A's here in the first inning. A's come in with a 5-9 record. They're 2-4 so far on this 8-game trip. So after the game tomorrow afternoon, the A's will head home for 1 week. So they have a chance to get to a 500 road trip, which would be nice.
Well, the A's going to start playing some teams in the, well, that's the next road trip. It's going to be Texas, Houston, then back to Seattle. But then after that, you're going to be back in the East. A couple of teams coming in from the Central and the East next week. With the unbalanced schedule, one trip. And you don't anticipate rain in the Bay Area for those teams when they come out to play the A's in the one trip. Matt Chapman, a great defensive game last night, great offensive game. And as I was talking with Scott today, and he said, young man starting to show a lot of confidence.
Strike 3 called, and that's how our game starts, with a strikeout. So out number 1 here in the first inning. Defensively for the Mariners, Ichiro's in left, Gordon in center, Haniger in right, Seager, Segura on the left side, Cano and Vogelback on the right side, and David Freitas is the catcher.
And for Gonzalez, pitching to Freitas tonight, they have one lefty that they have to deal with in the A's lineup. Only Matt Olson. Of course, Jed Lowry switch hitter, but he'll bat right-handed.
Canna hits one very high down the right field line, but it'll head into the seats.
I think sometimes if you can, we'll see what happens when Matt Olson comes up, but I've always felt that sometimes it's a negative for a pitcher facing a lefty whenever he faces majority of the time right-handers. See, he's on the first base side of the pitching slab, which allows him to throw across, which Freitas moves inside again like he did to Marcus Semien.
Gonzalez came over in a trade from the St. Louis Cardinals last year. So he's getting a wonderful opportunity with the Seattle Mariners in their rotation from the start of the season.
He comes to a park that really is more of a pitcher's park in Seattle, where he'll play his home games. You see, went to college at Gonzaga, born in Colorado, where it's probably snowing right now. Snowing in Minnesota, isn't it?
Yep. Vogelback coming over, Freitas going over. It's in the seats.
Okay, there's the pitch, the fastball outside, and Mark Canha tried to pull it. Fortunate it went in the seats, but that's a pitch where ideally, if a right-handed hitter can take anything outside, go to the opposite field, you make a mistake inside, you can pull it and react. But if you try to pull a left-handed pitcher and you're a right-hander, you're going to hit a lot of balls straight away center field, which is the deepest part of the park. That's ideal pitching for a lefty. Fastball in.
There it is. And he got it in there. Canha fights it off. Canha 1 for 3 so far this year. We started at Dodger Stadium at first base. It was on Wednesday. Again jams it. Quick look at the umpires. Kerwin Danley is the crew chief, and he is calling balls and strikes. Paul Noward at first, Scott Berry at second, and Carlos Torres is at third.
We always talked about,
he's been around a long time.
Yeah, we always talked about Kerwin Danley. Of course, Steve Sales, the A's trainer at one time, and Lake Tony Gwynn all played together down in San Diego, and it's like Kerwin Danley has lasted longer than anybody. That's good.
Yep, stayed in there, and Gonzalez is going to retire Canha on a pop up to Cano.
And if you keep your normal stance and you see a pitcher's doing that, and as the game progresses, if he stays inside the lower, the deeper in the batting order, you can see that. All you have to do is watch the left leg of Freitas, the catcher. If he moves in, it's going to be a fastball in or some sort of a slider cutter. But we have seen pitchers stay inside consistently and have success, because pop-up usually is the result of a pitch inside.
Lowry goes after the first pitch, hits it foul down to our right. Lowry had .310, 3 homers, 11 RBIs. He was 0 for 4 last night. He did score a run. Lowry 6 hits and 19 at bats as a right-handed hitter. He did not go as they checked with Paul Nauer.
See, the location of the pitch was inside, and he left it in the middle of the plate. See the left leg of Freitas, the catcher, moves inside, location inside.
Well, see if Gonzalez continues to come inside to these right-handed hitters, and then you always like to see, does he do it the second time through
That's
the line?
exactly, yeah.
But he has come inside to the first 3 hitters.
And Cap, you always talk about stealing signs from the runner at second base, giving the signs. You know, the guy in the on-deck circle, watch the catcher, he'll tell you a lot of times what he's doing.
Another pop-up foul. He's spoiling a lot of pitches from Marco Gonzalez. Lowry tied for 5th in the American League in hits with 18. Tied for 5th in RBIs with 11. So good start for Lowry.
Both sides of the plate also. He's swinging the bat very well from the right side.
This one's going to be playable. Shallow right, Cano out, Haniger in. And it's going to be Robinson Cano who grabs it. So Gonzalez has a 3-up, 3-down inning, and time for Kendall Graveman to get to work. This is the lineup he will face for the Mariners, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Gordon, Segura, Cano, Cruz, Seager, Haniger, Vogelbach, Ichiro, and Freitas. So Nelson Cruz off the disabled list in the lineup, and watch that matchup between Graveman and Cruz.
And for Kendall, making his 4th start, and against the Mariners the last 2 seasons, he has ended his season with a start against Seattle. One time last year, of course, on the disabled list. The previous year, 31 starts. So he has had some success against the Mariners.
And that will line to left, and Canna's going to play it on a hop. So on one pitch, Graveman into the stretch with the speedy Gordon aboard.
12-game hitting streak for D. Gordon. He did not waste any time, and first pitch outside, went with it. But you know, Cap, he's got some power. Of course, 1 home run, but look where Canna's playing. I think he can play more shallow than that.
I agree. I was thinking the same thing.
Because he's just going to flip the ball in left field. He's not going to drive it.
Pitch cast brought to you by SoFi, a modern finance company.
Now you have to be concerned. Hopefully he's looking for a ground ball. Try to get a double play. Try to do it before D. Gordon takes off to second.
Yeah, I just don't see D. Gordon. If D. Gordon's going to hit one over your head, it's probably going to be to right field or maybe right center. But for him to drive a ball over a left fielder's head, I don't know. He may do it occasionally, but it ain't going to happen very much.
No, you know, you take your chances, and sometimes, just like we saw with Boog Powell hitting the ball over Upton's head.
Once in a while.
Yeah, but more times than not, more are going to drop in front of you. And if you play shallow, you can take some of those away. Free. See, for Segura now, he's got to take some pitches to see if his runner Gordon's going to run.
Gordon is 5 for 5 in steals this year. Yeah, Segura, he does not like to take pitches, but we'll see if that changes a little bit with Gordon at first. Active stolen base leaders. Gordon has 283. So he is a major threat. And they threw it away down the right field line. Gordon to second, and he'll make a turn but stop there. So he did not need to steal second base, but just his threat forces the pitcher to maybe rush his throw a little bit.
Well, unfortunately, with the foul territory, the ball off the wall, the sidewall, guys could get to it, holding him to second base, and that in itself is a plus.
Gordon looking at the outfielders, see where they're positioned. The count is 0-2 to Segura with Cano in the on-deck circle. Segura hitting 340. I think that 348. 4 RBIs. Lowry grabs it, little broken bat flare. So that's a big out. Defensively for the Athletics, saw Canna in left field. Trace Thompson is in center. Stephen Piscotty in right. Chapman and Simeon on the left side. Lowry, Olson on the right side. And Jonathan Lucroy is your catcher. So here's Cano. Robinson Cano was 1 for 1 last night with 3 walks. He scored a couple of runs. He was kind of right in the middle of the action.
Well, the big walk in the 7th inning was huge. It was lefty on lefty. Danny Coulombe ended up walking him before Henniger hits a 3-run home run.
First pitch strike to Cano.
Well, the thing for everybody to watch tonight is the pitch selection location for Kendall Graveman. See the numbers for Robinson Cano last night helped him continue to raise his batting average, but for Kendall to be effective, he's got to keep the ball down in the lower part of the strike zone. Try to get some ground balls.
There's the ball. 1-1 the count. Well, tonight any 95-mile-per-hour fastball is our fast pitch, brought to you by Xfinity, the fastest Wi-Fi at home and on the go.
That looked like a cross up to you?
It looked a little weird.
It did not look smooth.
Pitches knocked down by Lucroy.
Now look back under the ball, came out almost like he thought Gordon was going to be running, and able to backhand keep the ball in front of him.
Robinson Cano in the very early going is leading the American League in hitting with that .424 average. Joe Mauer is second at .412.
He may never play again. This though in the Twin Cities.
And now it's 3-1. Trouble with the fastball. These are numbers from this season. Last year 262, the opponent's average against the cutter. This year 667, and opponent's average versus the fastball way up. So that's the cutter and that's the fastball, and that's why his ERA is 9.45 after 3 starts. So still early for Graveman, but it has been a tough start. And now he'll face a guy who, well, has had some success against him, and that would be Nelson Cruz.
Cruz hit a home run, stepping in the dugout, slipped, twisted his ankle, went on the disabled list. And all that was simply just hitting a home run, getting back to the dugout.
So he's glad to be back. Got 2 hits this year, both of them home runs. 14 for 22 with 2 home runs in his career against Graveman. First pitch to Cruz is inside.
September 27th last year, a game that Nelson Cruz took Kendall Graveman down the left field line, and it was crushed. Bam, broke a seat. But the A's and Kendall Graveman won that game 6-5, so that's good news.
So 1-0, be careful. Seager is the on-deck hitter. So a Gordon single. Just a second on the air, and now Cano with a walk.
Well, this guy's back in the studio talking about the signs, and here you have a runner at second base, and there's your multiple signs, and trying to figure out what's going on. And the real problem, Kai, if they complicate everything, now they're going to have to talk about it. That's a trip. That's an unnecessary trip, because it's got Emerson going out. But you know, if it's about signs, then it's too complicated, and they're trying to change them all the time.
Yeah.
Last night.
So you think that's the problem? It's sometimes they make it a little too complicated, but you got to keep changing it.
Well, yeah, but I still say the way to take care of that, now electronically if they do it, but if you see a runner at second base, just tell the hitter, I'm going to knock you down. And you know, he's not going to want signs, and he'll make sure that he lets the guy at second base. But I think if you're complicating him so much that the pitcher is unsure of what he's supposed to throw, that's not good.
Simplify.
Yeah.
Kickoff at second, and Gordon dives back. Nelson Cruz last year hit 8 home runs and had 25 RBIs against the A's. That was just last year.
Well, the last 2 years, how about that? Since
Man,
16,
that's a lot of
13
damage.
home runs. That's a good season for a player.
And he lays off that 2-0. Kendall Graveman needs a hard ground ball right at one of his infielders, and Cruz can do that. It doesn't sound like, in reading about Nelson Cruz this morning, and as Ray mentioned, the ankle injury, he may not be 100%, but he's also not playing in the field. He's going to DH, and he's going to be careful with that ankle, so he's probably not running 100%. And he chased a ball, that one running in on Cruz, so Graveman gets a swinging strike.
Well, but the ball kind of flat going in. It's not the sink going down. And while it turned out to be a good swing and miss, but the danger for Kendall Graveman is elevating those pitches and going east to west instead of north and south. You prefer that the sinker go south down to get the ground ball.
And he threw it again, and it was well off the plate, and then he gets a strikeout. So Cruz chased the same pitch twice.
Well, they go inside, and you're right. I tell you, it almost hit his right kneecap, and that's how Kendall Graveman hit Justin Turner with the ball going side to side. And it's all about getting out on the front foot and kind of timing it so you're having the downward plane.
So with 2 outs, here's Seager.
That's what happens too, Cap. Pitcher, players, they all look at video so much that sometimes you can kind of analyze what you did, what you didn't do, and to the point that you're not really free and easy with anything that you are doing. And that's why sometimes, and even though some people say you don't see a ball, hit ball, but if you just eliminate anything out of your mind and then pitch, get the sign, get the location, you throw it, you don't think about should this be the right pitch or not.
1-0 to Seager. Seager had 3 hits last night. 3 for 4 with a double and an RBI and had a run score. That was close.
Well, you're right.
And then diving back is Gordon. And the reason they were concerned about Gordon is Chapman's playing a little bit of a shift. I mean, he's quite a ways from third base, and you know Gordon sees that, so you do have to be careful with D. Gordon.
Well, unfortunately, there are 2 outs, so it does not mean as much now with 2 outs as opposed to 1 out, where if he gets to third or second and third, it can make a big difference.
3-0. Haniger on deck. You never know with Kyle Seager. He may have the green light, although it seems like Graveman struggling a little bit with his control. And that one a strike. Seager didn't think so.
If anything, it might have made up because Kerwin Danley, the second pitch, you know, it's in the box, but Kerwin Danley wanted, or at least started to call the second pitch a strike, but ended up calling it a ball that looked like a pretty good pitch.
So 3-1 with Gordon at second and Cano at first. Timeout call.
See what happens here, because the pitcher doesn't add and subtract. The catcher has to go through multiple signs, and if the pitcher doesn't like the sign, you have to keep going through the multiple signs. You can't just look like at the end. Look where I just put down 2, just saying that's the sign, throw it. He said no.
That one missed inside, and now the bases are loaded.
Well, the cut fastball on 2-2 did not cut outside, came back inside, and you saw Jonathan Lucroy move in. He had set up outside, but the pitch ended up on the inner part of the plate, and after 2 had been called strikes on the same location, Haniger turned on it, and unfortunately for the A's, turned out to be a big hit, the 3-run home run.
So Haniger off to a very good start. 3 homers, 12 RBIs. And the first pitch, that one's a strike.
Cap, as you mentioned last night, with Cruz coming back, Haniger would move down in the batting order, so he drops 2 spots. So the Mariners have once again the dynamic trio of Cano, Cruz, and Seager, 3, 4, and 5. Now Haniger batting 6th.
Strike 2. So a quick 0-2.
And that's the 2-seam fastball that's starting outside, and it's a great pitch. We saw Andrew Triggs use it in Anaheim against the Angels very effectively. So the 2 inside to Cruz to strike him out. Now 2 to Haniger, both started outside and caught the outside corner. So if his cutter's working, the cutter can go away from the right-hander. 2-seamer can come back to the outside corner.
Oh, Lucroy held on to it. He was trying to get a strike call.
Sometimes you wonder how a hitter could take a pitch like that, unless he's just completely fooled. Didn't swing, but see the height of it. At one point looked like it's too low, but the side with the knees and the stride by the hitter.
And now it's 2-2.
And see that time he overthrew it, and because he overthrew it, the ball did not cut back towards the outside corner.
So 23 pitches here in the first inning. Graveman trying to get out of a jam.
And he has to look at D. Gordon down the third baseline.
2-2 pitch, got him swinging. So Graveman battles and he gets out of it. And the Mariners leave the bases loaded. No score after 1. Folks, Sharks pregame live is coming up next at 7 p.m. This A's-Mariners game will continue on NBC Sports California Plus, which can be found in the channels listed on your screen. If you can't find NBC Sports California Plus, log on to NBCSportsCalifornia.com or call your local TV provider. So at 7 o'clock, you want to watch the A's game, you got to go to NBC Sports California Plus, because on NBC Sports California, it'll be the Sharks pregame live show followed by Sharks playoff hockey. So we'll keep reminding you of that so you know what's going on. We don't want any of our great A's fans to miss this game, so they'll shoot on over to NBC Sports California Plus. And Sharks fans, they're going to see their team on NBC Sports California. Again, all that will happen at 7 o'clock.
You know, the important thing of your statement is that fans should be turning in here to listen to you. That's the biggest thing.
No.
Just so they can hear you, because you never want to miss an A's game with my friend Keif on the air.
Stay out of the way. Stay out of the way toward an A's victory. How about that?
That sounds great. Love to do an interview after the game.
We haven't done any of those.
No.
1-2 to Davis. A red hot Chris Davis. That one fouls off his foot, looks like.
Well, Chris Davis is back. This first home run to right center against Mike Leake. A little bit later against Nicasio, straightaway center field, and it's kind of a chip shot for him at 401 feet away. Lee Gordon trying to be Superman going after the ball, but Chris Davis, he is one of the strongest going in that direction. 16 home runs, 39 games, so between he and Cruz, pretty good production.
And that one's a fastball right there. Second strikeout for Marco Gonzalez.
I think the first four batters we're seeing a pattern developing here, and
what is that, Ray? Pitching inside?
That's called pitching inside. And Freitas on the corner, and Gonzalez hitting it pretty consistently.
So here's Matt Chapman. First pitch to Chapman is a strike. Terrific start to the season for the A's young third baseman. He's tied for first in the league in home runs, tied for second in RBIs, tied for second in hits, sixth in runs scored. He's fourth in the league in batting. He's eighth in the league in on base percentage. He's all over the leaderboards in the early going. This is game number 15 for the A's. Hey, it's only 15 games, but I'd rather be on the leaderboard than not on the leaderboard.
That's right. There's a lot of players who love to be in that position.
There's a changeup, and that's the second out. So Gonzalez that time, soft stuff away.
Yeah.
How about that?
Well, again, watch the catcher Freitas. He goes in a blocking position with an off-speed pitch, and he moves inside if it's going to be a fastball, and he stays toward the middle of the plate away if it's an off-speed pitch or a curveball.
So 2 outs for Olson. This is the only left-handed hitter in the A's lineup. Of course, Lowry's a switch hitter. So the only time we'll see lefty on lefty with Gonzalez going against this A's lineup. There's your shift. Seager in. A little bit outside. Gonzalez not a hard thrower. He's a bit of a dart thrower, but looks like he's got pretty good control, right?
Well, because he doesn't throw hard, he has to have control, and that's, I'd take that over a guy throwing 100 miles an hour and throwing it down the middle or missing and throwing a lot of pitches.
Swing and a miss, 89 miles an hour. Gonzalez, his first start was against the Giants. He got the win. He gave up 3 earned runs in 6 1/3, so he pitched well. Second start was at Kansas City, and he got knocked around. He gave up 4 runs and 8 hits in 2 1/3. So he's had a good start and a bad start.
That last pitch with Freitas, that's why it's important that the home plate umpire watch the ball where it crosses the plate. not the way the catcher brings it up in the strike zone. And Kerwin Danley, the veteran crew chief, and Freitas trying to steal a strike, could not do it, and that's good umpiring when that happens.
Full count now to Matt Olson. Olson 0 for 4 last night, a couple of strikeouts, hitting .275. Freitas sets up on the outside corner. That one's hit in the air, right center, but in the ballpark. Haniger goes back now. He hustles in and over, and he makes the catch. 6 up, 6 down for Marco Gonzalez. We'll go back. We'll lead it off when we come back.
Chrysler Pacifica Hybrid, America's first hybrid minivan. Test drive one today.
Yeah, I've taken that boat tour right there. It's pretty fun, actually. Bottom of the second, no score.
Is that the one that carries the cars too?
No, I did not go on that one, but that one takes a couple hours.
Yeah, Rich Harden lived in, I think, British Columbia, and he would drive from the Bay Area up to here, and it took him longer to take the boat across the water than it did to drive up here.
Richie.
He was not afraid to go fast. Rich Harden.
Like his fastball.
That's right.
Vogelback, home run last night. Vogelback said in the paper, he said, you know, I was so mad that I didn't get the run home early. Remember he had an at-bat, I think it was second and third, one out. He struck out.
Struck out, yeah.
He said, I was so hacked off. And then he hit a 2-run homer later in the game. He said, I felt a little bit better.
I'll tell you what, if this young man is as big as he is right now on April the 14th, come the end of the season with all the food they have in the clubhouse, it's going to be big. It's a big boy.
I'll tell him you said that.
Yeah, I'll tell him to his face. I don't care because food in the clubhouse is
tell
big.
us when you're going to do that. We want to get a camera rolling for that. A's announcer confronts Mariners first baseman.
Well, he is big, and this is what happens if he gets into one. I mean, they jumped on a first pitch fastball and a no doubter. But you hear the crowd reacting.
So here's Ichiro. Big cheer for the fan favorite, Ichiro Suzuki.
Sent another bottle of wine over to the skipper tonight.
Did he?
Yeah.
Looking for some pitches to hit. There's a great note on Ichiro. Last year, he was with the Marlins. And you could see where Ichiro would be a nice fit on a National League team. He's a good pinch hitter, could play a little outfield. But last year with the Marlins, he had 100 at-bats as a pinch hitter. Doesn't that seem like a huge amount? He was 27 for 100 as a pinch hitter.
But if you think of the National League with pitchers hitting, so maybe.
So they were using him.
Yeah, every time, but a lot. But
Man.
It's not going to be for all pitchers for sure.
And he did a good job. You know, I don't know if this is true or not, but there was some rumors that the A's looked at Ichiro a little bit.
Yeah, Bob Melvin would love to have had him because he managed him here in Seattle and knows just what kind of player he can be and or is.
David Freitas is the hitter. Graveman looking for a nice quick 3 up, 3 down inning, and he's got a chance to get it. "24 pitches in the first inning. 11 so far here in the second inning. You can see how cold it is. See Graveman, see his breath. Oh yeah. It's funny, even though it's kind of an open air stadium, it's still hard for us to tell whether it's raining or not. Sometimes you can actually hear it. Kind of look out there and see if it's raining. It was before very, very hard. Now it does not look like it's really raining too hard. A little bit. 3-2 now to Freitas, the 9th place hitter. Asked the good folks of Seattle, has it been raining a lot? And the response was 40 days and 40 nights it's been raining.
When you see people building arcs, you know it's raining a lot.
40 days and 40 nights. Chapman dives, can't get it. So Freitas has a hit. That's the second hit, 2-out single.
Well, it became a predictable 3-2 count pitch, and that's exactly what Freitas did on a 3-2 fastball. Got it? Dave, Matt Chapman comes up with the ball. He throws him out, but unfortunately just eluded his glove just under it. Couldn't get the glove down quickly enough. But the good news, if there is any, about Freitas on first base, he slows down Gordon if Gordon gets on, because he cannot run past Freitas.
Gordon slaps one left field. Canna's going to play it on a hop. So Canna came in, thought better of maybe diving for it, and Gordon has done the same thing twice, just slapped a single to left field.
Pitch is up, pitch away. See where Canna's playing? Too deep. And you can't take a chance and try to make the spectacular diving play, and that's why he came up short. But just think if it started at 2 feet or 2 steps forward, he would have caught it chest high.
So 2-out rally. Here's Segura.
And you know what this is trying to figure out what set of signs they're using, because they are changing them often.
Well, let me ask this then, Ray, since you know about this stuff better than most. Does that mean that Lucroy and Graveman have changed the sign sequence from last inning when there was a runner on second base?
Yep. Yes. And
just so nobody figures it out.
Right. And it could be pitch to pitch.
Is it possible then that these things become too complicated?
Yes. When Lucroy went through the set of signs after the runner got at second, what did Kendall Graveman do? He stepped off. Stepped off, because what happens a lot of times, for example, now the count's 1-2. They go based on the count. Ball, strikes.
Oh, I see what you're
strikes,
saying.
balls. I mean, so
So then you are changing it every pitch.
Every pitch, because it's based on the count. But you can use the outside signs, which Lucroy will do, which are, see, you could touch right there. See, those are outside. Is one an indicator? Do those mean anything? So maybe what he touched is actual sign. Maybe the chest protector is a fastball.
Well, and as we were getting ready to do the pregame hit with Jim Cosmore and Dave Stewart, and we could hear Stu talking a lot about it, and it was very interesting and understandable, but it also was complicated.
Well, it is, and that's what you don't want. You don't want it so complicated that, first of all, the pitcher has to think about it. But a lot of times during spring training, and I remember Jonathan Lucroy came on March the 12th when he signed, so he got a little bit of a later start.
And that one hit deep to left. Wow. That's not good, and it's gone. Segura, a 3-run homer. And that one hurt.
On a 2-strike pitch. So there are two things in this inning, and look at the location of the fastball. They wanted to go in. It was in. He turned on it. 92 down low, and he is a very good hitter. But you have the 9th place hitter. You start with 2 strikes. You end up base hit on a 3-2. You have the leadoff hitter punching one to left field, and then you get the big boys up, and it's a 3-run home run just like last night with 2 outs. With 2 outs, just like last night. So you look at the 5 last night with 2 outs, in the 7th, and 3 in this game with 2 outs.
So 6 home runs allowed now by Kendall Graveman in 15 innings. No, fouls it straight back.
Okay, the one thing you've always said, and it's so true, it's a couple of starters trying to figure out. Manaea pitches tomorrow, Triggs will pitch Tuesday, or Wednesday, but the one thing about the lower part of the batting order, I mean, he got Bogo back, he got Suzuki, and then with Freitas goes to 3-2, throws him a fastball down the middle of the base hit. And that's, you get ahead, you got a chance. Just like you said, 11 pitches, and all of a sudden now he had the 24 in the first, is a 23 now in this inning, instead of having maybe a quick 11-12 pitch inning. They got to figure it out.
1-2 pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out, side retired, but Segura with a 3-run homer. So the Mariners have a 3-run lead. And this programming note, right now this A's game is going to NBC Sports California Plus. A's are going to NBC Sports California Plus. Coming up right now on NBC Sports California, Sharks pregame live. And it's 3-0 Mariners. So a 2-out rally.
By the way, it's his first home run of the season.
Yep.
Look to Los Angeles on Tuesday night. First 5 batters in the Dodgers lineup had not hit a home run by the time the game was over. 3 of them had.
Segura, he's not a big home run hitter. He hit 12 last year, but he's a very good hitter. Here's a strike, and it's a quick 0-2 to Jonathan Lucroy. Lucroy, Piscotty, and Thompson, the bottom 3 for the A's. Goes inside. So Gonzalez, he's like that inside corner, but we also saw him throw a pretty darn good changeup to Chapman to get one of his 3 strikeouts. But Freitas goes back inside.
Well, you know, we talk about all the signs concerned about him at second base and the way Freitas is moving. This is something away off speed. Threw that change up too hard. But see, the catcher moves and you got the on deck circle, whistle, do something. Every time that left foot goes inside, you know, you see it so often. But there are times that if you just watch a catcher, he'll tell you what he's calling. Don't have to worry about a runner at second base or even trying to steal a sign. Something inside again. See the left foot, how it moved in.
That one up and in, and ends up being a leadoff walk. So the A's have their first base runner. So see if that shakes up Gonzalez a little bit. Doesn't matter about him being in the stretch for the first time because he's not. He's been pitching out of the stretch since the first hitter of the game.
But you know, I was thinking about that too, Kai, because if you think of nobody on base now, not pitching out of the stretch, you can do a lot of things. But now with the runner on, it changes everything. You're pitching out of the stretch. Now you're pitching a little bit more stretch situations and higher leg kick there. So really helping the runner steal if you wanted to with a high leg kick. Remember Chad Bradford when he would pitch out of the stretch and not really come to a set position, just from down under throw. And people say you can't do that. But out of the stretch, with nobody on base, you can do anything you want. It's like winding up and pausing and hesitating, do a lot of things.
Piscotty is retired. And here's Trace Thompson. Second start for Trace Thompson. He that started at Dodger Stadium where he had a hit and made the great catch in center field. Trace watched his brother play terrific today. Klay Thompson had 27 points in the Warriors' Game 1 victory over the Spurs. So good start for the Warriors as they really kind of did whatever they wanted to today against the San Antonio Spurs.
So that means tonight Klay is watching Trace.
Trace watched Klay. Clay's watching Trace.
So
you know what? Nice job, Klay.
Yeah. So a little reciprocal. Yeah. Hope you get to tweet something else again. We'll run it.
Warriors won 113-92 earlier today. They will play again on Monday night, Game 2 of that series, Monday night at Oracle. So a dual event on Monday night with the A's and the White Sox and Warriors Game 2. And on 3 pitches, Thompson strikes out. So that is 4 strikeouts now for Marco Gonzalez.
That's the 83, so that'd be a changeup that he just threw. That with Freitas outside and kind of cut back over the middle of the plate. That's why the look from Trace Thompson, because the pitch was supposed to be outside, maybe move it away from him instead of cut into it. By the way, that dual event is on Monday night, but not on Tuesday, fortunately, because Tuesday is the biggie.
Tuesday, yeah, it's going to be busy on Monday. It's going to be really busy on Tuesday. The Coliseum. Marcus Semien struck out looking to lead off the game. So Marcus looking for his first hit in this series after an 0 for 4 last night. He did walk last night. And that's a strike down at the bottom of the strike zone. Lucroy, not a real big lead at first. And that one is ripped down the left field line, headed for the corner. It one-hops the wall. Picked up by Ichiro, and they're going to wave Lucroy around. The throw to the plate, not in time. The ball scoots away from the catcher, and now Semien's going to try to score, and he is out.
He's saying he got his hand in. We'll see if they're going to take a look at it. And
so there's a couple things going on here, because it looked like that ball bounced off the inner wall.
Yeah, and that's
down the left field line.
That's what Scott Service is talking about.
See, if it hits the back wall behind the home run fence, then it's a ground rule double.
Yep.
And yeah, it did.
Yeah,
see,
it
that's going to
skipped
cost
over the
A's
top
a
wall.
run
It's
right
going to
there.
cost them a run, but it's maybe if they get a hit. So they're going to challenge. Well, they can't challenge Semien because it's a moot point because it's second and third if the ball is up there.
So they'll get this straightened out, but it just looked like that ball hit that little side wall up over the home run fence, and that is what happened.
And Carlos Torres called it a fair ball. Yeah, they're going to take a look at something. And if it's a ground rule double, then Marcus Semien goes to second, and he's not out at the plate.
Let's look at the play at the plate, which was very close, and they called Marcus out at the plate.
And he thought he got his left hand in. But again, if it's a ground rule double, it go back to second and third, and there's 2 outs, and see if Mark Canha can do something. Let's say the in-house is incorrect. They've got to wait until the challenge because if they're challenging the back wall, then the play at the plate should be a moot point.
So this is what they're challenging. Again, if it hits that back wall behind the home run fence, then it's a ground rule.
Skipping right there, and then goes to the back wall. So that's a ground rule double.
So that, unfortunately, is going to cost the A's a run, unless the A's can pick it up maybe with a Canha 2-out hit.
And if you get the 2-out hit, to get 2 runs, where Semien was out at the plate on the throw.
So they're showing it on the big board, and it's pretty evident what's going on. So they're
second and
Daly
third.
does a nice job, second and third.
So Semien rounded from went home to home, was called out, now has to go back to second. But hammered the double, but as always, anytime the ball down the line, this is a higher fence, but still it took a big hop on the warning track, and that was the correct call, especially with the challenge. And when you have challenges now, these things can happen.
Yep, that's exactly right. So now the A's need a 2-out hit from Canha.
Mark Canha's got to think right field. They're shifting him, thinking he's going to pull the pitch.
And the first pitch way outside. Canha popped out to the second baseman in the first.
There's a shift with Cano and Vogelbach way off the bag, so anything to the right side, it's a foot race. And for Mark Canha, if second time that he's hitting, and see what happened with Marcus Semien the second time after striking out, he doubled. The changeup. So Freitas calling a different game the second time through the batting order. Thing is with Gonzalez, again, 89-92. It's not really overpowering the fastball. So if you think outside, think right field, then react on a pitch inside, can work for you.
That one is lined. to left. That's a hit. Ichiro comes up throwing, and the throw is late, and the A's get the 2-out hit from Arcana, and it's 3-2. So Lucroy scores, Simeon scores. And we're going to get a mound visit.
Well, good job by Mark Cannon. Worked the count 2-0 and then stayed back. And fortunately, the ball with a line drive, and Ichiro got it. Still has a very strong arm, but this time a little bit up the line. And the runner coming in, catcher couldn't go get the ball. So as a result, it's going to be a base hit, 2 runs batted in, and an E7 with the ball getting past the catcher and the pitcher backing up, not able to prevent Mark Canna from going to second base. Great job of hitting with 2 outs. 2 runners on, both running on contact, and the throw just up the line. And Gonzalez couldn't get to it quickly enough. So big hit for Mark Canna. So you know what? That challenge worked out well for the A's.
Yep.
In hindsight, if you look at what Mark Canna was able to do.
That's true. Got him an extra run.
Got an extra run.
Wonder if that's ever happened in the replay, in the history of instant
That's
replay.
Right. Probably not. I bet we're seeing a lot of things. But if the second time through the batting order is any indication, the A's are either making some adjustments or Gonzalez is trying to adjust. And you got the 2 outs. You got the fly ball from Scotty. Thompson with the strikeout, but back-to-back hits by Marcus Semien and Canna, and the leadoff walk scores.
1-0 to Lowry. On the right field line. Haniger into the corner, and he leaps. Can't get it. So wouldn't it be something if the A's win this game by 1 run?
Well, the way they're going, it might just be that. But a great recovery by the Athletics. A shocker for the home run to be hit with 2 outs, but then Mark Canna with a big 2-out hit. So first 5 runs in the game all coming with 2 outs. The A's would love to tie it with the 6th. Keep it going in this inning with one of the A's hottest hitters.
Lowry, line drive, right field. Haniger can't get it. Plays it on a hop. His throw to the plate is not in time, and this game is tied at 3.
Jed Lowry, you know, Haniger is playing very shallow in right field, but one of the problems he had as a curveball is hit nicely by Jed Lowry. But watch Haniger in right field. He's playing shallow. He charges the ball, and it really eats him up. He's lucky to catch it or stop it. Watch this. Cuts to the chest and has to recover a little bit and does not make a very strong throw. And once again, with 2 outs, so he charged it, and it'd been better for him to sit back a little bit, charge, catch the ball in 1 hop instead of trying to catch it initially and have it hit him in the midsection. So Kendall Graveman with a reprieve after his offense with 2 outs coming through big. And Jed Lowry, well, second time top 3 batters, all hits.
And Lowry now with 12 RBIs on the season. Chris Davis takes a stride in the inside corner. 1-1 the count.
You know, the one thing that Freitas is doing, which he should do as a catcher with a left-handed pitcher, he's moving off the plate inside. So essentially when Gonzalez throws the fastball inside, it's crossing the inside corner. See how far he moves off the plate a little bit? Forcing Gonzalez to pitch inside and finish. And you'd rather have the pitcher miss too far inside instead of having the ball leak back over the plate.
So 1-2. Started with Lucroy's walk. Too far inside with 87-mile-an-hour fastball, maybe a little cutter. Past Matt Williams, so Davis stays alive. Davis struck out looking in the second inning. Marcus Semien with the big double ends up scoring a run.
tried to steal a run, ended up called out at the plate, but sent back to second because he hit it too hard.
Straight back by Davis. That was a good swing. Marco Gonzalez working hard this inning.
Chris Davis, he's got to hit one of those mistakes, and it's not going to be pulled. It'll probably be they're shading him, shifting him a little bit in the outfield towards the middle.
Got him swinging, came inside, but the A's bounced back. 3 runs, a walk, 3 hits, an error, and we got a new ball game.
That'll be starting Monday night when the White Sox and Red Sox come to Oakland. First, it's 3 games starting Monday against the White Sox, followed by a 3-game weekend series against the Red Sox, and they are hot. That's starting on Friday. The first 20,000 fans get the Matt Chapman Kelly Green replica jersey on Green Friday. Get yours at athletics.com/tickets today. All coming up next week. And man, are the Red Sox hot? They're hot in cold weather.
Yeah, they won again.
Yeah, in cold weather. It is cold in Beantown. Could be snowing tomorrow.
They won 10-3, so the Red Sox are now 12-2.
Scored 3 runs in the first inning and just kept adding on.
Cruz, Seager, and Haniger. See how Kendall Graveman handles his team coming back to tie it.
It'd be nice to have a very quick 1-2-3 inning, get back in the dugout.
Well, it was a good idea, right? Good idea in theory. So Nelson Cruz has a base hit.
And there's your shift. Shifting him to the left side. And, you know, maybe when he's 100% and he's not coming off the disabled list, that may be one that you say, well, give him a single instead of a home run. But he's trying to hit the ball to right field. He's trying to wait.
Here's Seager. Seager hits one very high down the right field line into the corner. High towering drive.
And it just kept hooking and barely had the distance down in the corner to the 326-foot mark. And as he was trotting back the home plate, he's looking at the jumbo vision. Take a look at the swing. Just a little too quick, that's all.
Seager walked in the first inning. Takes that one in the dirt. Here's your shift for Seager. Graveman 53 pitches so far. How many pitches in the second inning, Ray?
24.
So 24 each in the first and second inning. Last night the A's bullpen 3 innings of work. Five pitchers were used.
Remember the game in the opener for the Athletics? Kendall Graveman down 4-0. 3-run home run by Chris Davis, solo by Matt Olson. 4-4. He went back out for the next inning, gave up a home run to Pujols, and that was it.
That one is driven right center field. Anybody going to get it? No. So Cruz, who again not running very well, is going to ease into third. Seager just gets to second, and it's second and third, nobody out.
Well, 2-0 then 3-1, and there's the difference in how you're going to pitch to hitters. Are you going to make quality pitches? Can you make them? And that was not. 93 down the middle, and the way they were playing him straight up, he hit it in the gap, hit it fly ball, high fly, but just not enough speed to get to it.
See, Cruz, watch Cruz running. See, he's not really running very well. He's being careful. The bad ankle. So here is Mitch Haniger, who struck out in the first. Second and third, nobody out. A's play the infield back. Outfield straight away for Haniger. And he drills one towards center. Now it's hooking toward left center. It's going to get down for a hit. Cruz will score. Seager will score. And Haniger with a 2-run single. And the Mariners grab the lead right back. That ball had a little knuckle action on it.
Yes, it did.
We had a pretty good view of it and got about halfway out to center field, and it took a little bit of a turn toward left center field.
Yeah, it started knuckling a little bit. Looked like it might be caught. That would have been great, because there it looked like it's going to caught, and then there it goes as a hook. And Trace Thompson had to reach to keep it from going past him. And remember the last start, Kendall Graveman went just 3 1/3. So 81 pitches in 3 1/3. That was against the Angels in Anaheim. It was a game that Ohtani pitched the Sunday afternoon.
There's Vogelbach, struck out looking in the second inning. So 7 hits now for the Mariners. And that one toward the on-deck circle, and that will allow Haniger to go to second.
It hit somebody's shin guard.
I think it hit their umpire.
Yeah. Because you could hear it, and as far as the ball went away, watch the right shin guard of Kerwin Danley. Yep, hit him in the shin guard, and you hear it all the way up here, but definitely where the ball ended up over by the Mariners dugout, I knew it hit something hard.
So now a runner at second. Ichiro will be next. So that's been an issue for the A's. 13 wild pitches already this year, most in the majors. Just again, 3-1. They're stretching around a little bit out in the A's bullpen. Nobody's throwing. Nobody has a jacket off. At this point, well, you got to get some innings out of your starters.
Maybe asking for Jeremy Dowdle or Phil Pohl.
Back helped out there. Swinging a ball. It would have been ball 4.
He's looking to try to pull this ball down and away and reached for it. Taylor Motter pitched a game in Kansas City, position player for the for Seattle against the Royals. They were down 10-0.
Hit high and foul down the left field line. Yeah, I think that was the game that Gonzalez started.
Yeah.
His second start.
Well, the ups and downs of a dugout and a manager, and trying to get excited when your team is down 3, come back with 2 outs and score 3. And now all of a sudden you're down 2 again with a runner at second, nobody out.
3-2 pitch, swing and a miss. He struck him out, so it won't go back. Does not have a productive at bat.
That stayed away. And you think about pulling all the time, those hips open up, and back to your point, when you see the belt buckle, that means you open up too much.
Yep. So that is the 5th strikeout for Graveman. 2 in the first, 2 in the second, 1 here in the third. Ichiro grounded out his first at bat. Ichiro with 3,085 career hits. Of course, that's career hits here in the United States. Takes low. '22nd on the all-time hit list. And what he played 9 years in Japan before
that's right.
coming here, 9 or 10. Slices that one foul.
I'd like to know how much he had to spend to rent a stadium to work out. Just completely rent the whole stadium.
Must be nice.
But unlike some players who are free agents who sat around, Ichiro kept thinking he was going to sign with somebody, so he wanted to continue to work out. And it's pretty impressive when they say, I want to rent the whole stadium. Just me.
Ohtani, the latest Japanese sensation, did not play today for the Angels. Angels won again 5-3 in a very, very cold Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City, but Ohtani did not play. He will pitch tomorrow. That one chopped over Graveman's head. Simeon's got to hurry. Throw. Got him.
Well, that's a change right there, because of the pass, that's a base hit. So maybe a half a step, because Ichiro 262 hits in one season. That was a check swing, but running out of the batter's box, and bang, bang, and that's it. Play by Marcus Semien. You had to catch and throw quickly.
So now Graveman's got to get Freitas, who singled and scored in the second inning. And a 2-out base hit in that second inning, and that started the 3-run rally. Graveman got ahead of him in that at bat as well.
1-2 count. 3-2 base hit left field.
Mike Zunino still on the disabled list. So Cruz back from the disabled list today, but Gamble, Zunino did not come off the disabled list. Healy still on it. And there's a strike. So 2-1 the count.
Third inning, 72 pitches. That's not good.
Misses way outside. Now it's 3-1. D. Gordon would be next. It has been a struggle for Graben each and every inning. Canna in left. Reaches up, makes the catch. Side retired. 2 runs on 3 hits for the Mariners. We're on to the 4th inning. Seattle 5, the A's 3. Our teacher program, recognizing teachers that make a difference. Visit NBCSportsCalifornia.com and vote. The winner receives $20,000 for his or her school. It's a good look at Safeco Field. See, the sliding roof is closed, but still see open on the right side there. Right next door, CenturyLink Field, the home of the Seahawks. Don't forget about the Sounders from soccer team, MLS, I mean. And right next door, that's about where the Kingdome used to be.
That's right, it actually is.
Ray, you spent a month at the Kingdome as a member of the Seattle Mariners.
Yeah, it's been a year there, 1 month.
That's a good one.
But I tell you, one of the best videos we have was the Hawk pushing the button and the Kingdome imploding.
He did not like, was that the Kingdome or the Metrodome?
Metrodome, I'm sorry. I knew it was one
Although
dome.
I think there's probably a few people who wanted to
do the same
to
yeah.
the Kingdome. Yeah.
Tell you, the way the snow and everything's happening in the Metrodome or the Twin Cities, they maybe wish they had a dome stadium.
That's a strike. Chapman thought it was ball 4, flips the bat.
Well, lower part of the strike zone. Did it catch the lower part? According to Kerwin Danley, it did. Chapman didn't think so.
So 3-2 to Matt. Fouls it straight back to the screen. There he is. See, Ray Fosse was a Mariner for a very short time.
1 month in the inaugural season.
1977. Yeah. See, I can tell. I've known you for 15 years. I can tell you're not happy on that picture.
Yeah, it rained every day I was here.
It's just not your happy face. See, when the A's have a walk-off win, that's not the face I see. I know your happy face. Plus, you left Cleveland again. You were disappointed.
Well, that's probably the reason I had that look on my face, because I didn't want to leave Cleveland.
Another 3-2. And this one fouled just below us.
Pep, you know how it is when someone says something that you supposedly said and you know you didn't.
Yeah,
you know? That's when it really hurts, because that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Happy to be right here, right now.
Another 3-2 here to Chapman. And that's a fair ball. Headed for the corner, bangs off the side wall, and Chapman will have a double.
What a strange game. You go from thinking you had a walk on a low strike. You come back, you foul off 3 pitches with a couple of strikes. Then you rip a double down the left field line. So Marcus Semien, instead of being thrown out at the plate, gets a double, scores a run. This ball off the sidewall. Ichiro played it as well as you could, considering the way the ball caromed off the wall. But at that point, with Chapman's speed, he was going to have an easy double anyway.
So second double for Matt Chapman, and here's Matt Olson.
Well, Captain, look at this shift, and you see the way they're all assuming he's going to pull the ball. And you know, in spring training, when Matt Olson got a base hit to left field, the skipper said it's the best hit he's ever seen, because this shift, a ground ball to shortstop, with Segura playing near second, a ground ball to the shortstop in normal positions, a base hit and an RBI.
1 now to Matt Olson, who hit a fly ball to right field in the second inning.
And really, in this situation, just hoping you get a pitch from middle plate away and just stay back and go the opposite field. But so far, Gonzalez, that pitch in particular, a fastball inside with a good location. There it was.
Yep, right on the outside corner. Pretty good pitch by Marco Gonzalez.
But it's the type of pitch after the fastball in. I mean, really, whether it's a ball or a strike, it pitches away, and that helps a hitter if he kind of drags the bat through the zone.
With a little slider that time. So 4 hits now for the Athletics. A couple of singles, a couple of doubles. Just a slightly open stance.
Look where the bat is, though, too. It's on the inside corner of the plate.
And that hit him. Could hit the umpire as well.
Yeah.
Let's see where it hit Matt Olson.
He got him on the hand, on the left elbow. The back arm got the catcher, everybody. Check the left arm as he grab it. Try to go inside after a couple pitches outside.
So the A's with a good start here in the 4th. 2 on and nobody out. We'll see if they can tie it up again, maybe more. Luke Croy walked and scored in the 3rd. And that one on the outside corner. A changeup maybe to Luke Croy. Luke Croy was 1 for 4 last night. Gonzalez tries inside but misses. A's did not have a hit with runners in scoring position last night. They were 0 for 4, but again, they hit 3 home runs, so that certainly helped. Different story tonight with Couple big 2-out hits in the third to knock in runs. Gonzalez breezed through the first 2 innings, 6 up, 6 down, but since then he has thrown a lot of pitches. So Chase and Bradford up for the Mariners, so action in their bullpen for the first time. Lucroy hits one foul, right field line.
That had him for 32 pitches the first 2. 3 strikeouts, 3 pop-ups. And now a lot of damage by the Athletics, especially with a couple of outs.
So Lucroy steps back in. Piscotty will be next, and then Thompson. Lucroy drives one to center. Gordon backs up. Chapman's going to tag, so Chapman will go to third. So the A's now have runners at the corners with 1 out.
Good swing by Jonathan Lucroy, just an old atom ball, but I remember last night you were talking about catching the ball on your heels. That's what Gordon did. There's no way, and that's smart base running by Matt Chapman to go to third base and try to get a runner in from third base in less than 2 outs. It was a line drive, and maybe Gordon just happy to get the 1 out and get the ball back into the infield, keep the double play in order.
So RBI opportunity for Piscotty, who hit a fly ball to right field in the third. Speed for a strike. Piscotty with 5 RBIs on the year. Interesting with Gonzalez. He really is in, out, in, out.
Fastball's in, changeups away. Hard in, soft away pretty much, and he's 8 of 9 hitters are right-handed, so it really suits him well to be able to use that philosophy.
Piscotty left center field, and that's going to be a base hit. Chapman will trot home. Olsen will round second. He'll head to third, and it's 5-4. RBI number 6 for Piscotty.
Good swing by Stephen Piscotty, and you could tell that he's starting to get a little bit more comfortable in the American League. And good swing, still has yet to hit a home run, but that's going to come. You'll take this anytime. Shot to left center. Piscotty staying back, using his quick hands, and
Scott Service is coming out.
That looks like Scott Service, and he's going to the bullpen.
That's it.
It's amazing. So good comeback by the Athletics, man. This has been fun to watch the A's come back, especially after big innings so far by the Mariners. So maybe one of those nights.
So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change, tune-up, and brake experts. to stream every NBC Sports California A's broadcast on your desktop or mobile device. A's games streamed on the go on the NBC Sports app. So the A's have cut the lead to 5-4, and they're looking for more.
And it's not going to be Trace Thompson. It's going to be Matt Joyce pinch hitting for Thompson as Chasen Bradford comes in. He did not pitch in last night's game, only his second of this season. And really, this is rare for a pitcher to come out of the bullpen and not throw 95. He's thrown about 89, 92, just like the starting pitcher. So with the exception of him being right-handed and Gonzalez left-handed, they have very similar styles of pitching. It's a question of whether Bradford likes to pitch as much inside to the lefties as the starting pitcher Gonzalez did to the A's right-handers.
So here is Joyce. So Trace Thompson gets just one at bat tonight. He struck out. That was in the third. So Chasen Bradford. First pitch. That's Cano. He flips on to first. Not in time. Run scores and we're tied. A little shift was on, so Cano had a little ground to cover before he could flip it to Segura.
They're going to take a look at it. I mean, it took Matt Joyce getting to the bag and jumping at it. Strong throw in the dirt. Ooh, yeah.
Mariners are thinking about taking a look at it.
Well, the fact that he's called safe, that's the key, because it's bang bang. Is there enough to overturn it? Did the heel get on it? They're going to take a look at it. It's a big run. I mean, this is a big play, and Matty Ackler's taking over as the bench coach, so he's on the phone, and they are going to take a look at it. And you just hope it's one of those that's not definitive enough to overturn it.
So Paul Nauert, gentleman on the right, he is the first base umpire. He made the call. And let's see.
The ball in the dirt, that's what, but it came up, and did it get in the first baseman's glove? Now it's got to get clearly into the glove before it can be called, and if it's there, it may be overturned.
Very close.
Yeah, it is. And call on the field. Yeah, it's going to take very long.
Well, it's not taking long, and he's out. So that's a big play. That turns out to be a 4-6-3 double play, and the A's do not tie the game. They do get one on a couple of hits. So bottom of the fourth coming up.
Attend every A's regular season game for $29.99 per month for 6 months, or an annual fee of $149.99. Includes general admission seating in the outfield sections. Anyone can visit the treehouse, but if you buy the treehouse pass, your pass will only allow you access to this space in left field. And that is a view, folks, in left field, the party deck, and the treehouse.
So Matt Joyce is now in center field as he pinch hit for Thompson. So it's a 5-4 game. Ray, would this game so far be put into the kind of a weird game category?
With everything that's happened, yes, I agree.
Some strange stuff going on. You think about a couple of overturned calls that have affected the scoreboard.
You know, if you think of
different ways.
You know, that's a good point, Cat, because if the Mariners don't challenge the ground rule double, the A's only score 1 run. They ended up scoring 3.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's a great point.
If the Mariners would have said, forget it, we're not challenging, which they're not going to do because, you know,
sure,
at that point it saved a run. But they would have only given up 1 run.
Ended up scoring. The A's scored 3.
They scored 3. Now, you don't, that's obviously hindsight, but still kind of interesting nonetheless.
That's true.
So how has it ever happened before where an overturned call actually cost the team that got the benefit of the overturn 2 runs?
Coach, we're going to decline the penalty.
That's what I'm saying.
But I mean, basically, that's what it was.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
3-2 to D. Gordon. And he drives on the right. Piscotty going back. Piscotty, couple steps in front of the wall, and he makes the catch.
It's his best bolt. Fastball down and in. Worst thing for D. Gordon is to do that. Hit a ball so hard that it's caught. And Mark Canha very happy that he pulled the ball instead of hitting the ball to left field, but they pitched him a little bit differently. He even thought about bunting one.
Here's Segura, who has a big hit in this game, a 3-run homer in the second. Segura, his home run was his first of the year.
Low fastball down and in, not a bad pitch.
Segura is just, he's not going to walk a lot. He likes to swing it. He has the ability to barrel up pitches that aren't necessarily in the strike zone. He's the kind of guy that, because he's a 300 hitter and he doesn't walk a lot, he's the kind of guy that's going to get 200 hits in a season.
Yeah, you're right.
And we're not saying going to, because he already has. Joyce has it. Segura had 203 hits in 2016.
That's ball 3, but he swung at a pitch.
Swung at a pitch that was a little
and you know, it's interesting that the pitch he hit, there was a 1-2 fastball down and then he just dropped the head of the bat. This pitch, 2-2 fastball that was up out of the strike zone, he got under it. And you know, you see the launch angle, but the pitch was up a little bit high. And actually, pitchers are trying to pitch up in that zone now if the hitters will swing at it, because it's tough to drive a ball. I mean, they always talk about getting on top, get the backspin, but hitters are trying to get under the ball and drive it.
Curveball first strike to Cano. Robinson Cano, a walk and a strikeout so far. Robinson Cano, career hits 2,390, so closing in on 2,400. 301 career home runs. And there's a base hit. So 2-out single, nothing easy for Graveman. So most home runs by a second baseman in Major League Baseball history. Jeff Kent is the leader. Then Cano, Biggio, Hall of Famer, Sandberg, Hall of Famer, Morgan, Hall of Famer. Joe Gordon, is he a Hall of Famer?
Yeah.
I think he is. A lot of people think Lou Whitaker should be. Jeff Kent is not. Rogers Hornsby is. Scott Emerson's going to come out, check on Kendall Graveman. 3 2/3 so far. Lots of pitches for Graveman.
Well, for Scott Emerson, his dad and mom built him back down in Phoenix, Arizona area. Watching every game.
Good.
Watching the boy go out. Manny Coulomb loosening up maybe to get some extra time, but Emo says his dad and mom, they watch every game. You know, he's got a nice trot. I like his trot. It's a big league trot for a pitching coach.
Yes, it is. There's the mound visits. A's have used 2. They got 4 left.
Did they take any home last night? That's a great comment, partner. That was good. Can't go buy a cup of coffee with the leftover mound visits.
No. Put your wallet out. Outside to Nelson Cruz. A strikeout and a single for Cruz. Back from the disabled list.
Well, that trip by Scott Emerson to buy a little time, but you know, from the standpoint of Kendall Graveman, he retired the last 2 last inning, actually the last 3 after giving up 3 consecutive hits and then 2 in this inning, and just like to keep it going, get back in the dugout quickly. Keep saying that, but it's in reality that's what a starting pitcher wants to do, and getting 90 pitches already. So the 2 starting pitchers over 170 total as Gonzalez exited with 80 some odd pitches.
So not a great ratio for Graveman.
And you have to wonder if he's even going to get a chance to pitch the 5th, considering the pitch count.
Runs that one inside. He got Cruz to swing at that pitch right there twice in the first inning and got him to strike out.
.24, 24, 26. That is not good. I mean, ideally 9 average to pitch a complete game at 108.
Right on the outside corner. Good spot there. 2-2.
Make that 12 for 9 innings at 108. And we have to reference the Chicago game a couple years ago in 16 when he threw a 98 pitch complete game, a shutout against the White Sox. 98 pitches, and he's 6 away from that, and he's got 2 outs in the 4th inning.
Chapman's got it. Chapman's going to go across the diamond, and they'll get Cruz, and the side is retired. So hitting a runner left. We're headed to the 5th. 5-4 Mariners.
Double down the left field line. Marcus Semien is going to score a run. Watch the ball. It is going to go over the fence, so that's a ground rule double, and that's what Kerwin Downey says. So after Marcus Semien was thrown out at the plate, he goes back to second, and Mark Canha comes through with a 2-run single. They would add another one, And that was a Jet Lowry hit. The A's tied it. So to my partner's point, a reprieve. Take one out away, and you score 3 runs. So nice recovery by the Athletics. I mean, just trying to come back from a 1-run deficit.
Go 2 to Marcus Semien. Chase and Bradford have got the big double play on Joyce to end the 4th. Goes back to work here in the 5th. And Marcus one around as they check with Paul Nauer.
Well, all breaking pitches, and remember, as you mentioned, he does not throw hard, but he throws the slider a lot. And he just threw 3 in a row, and the chase on the 0-2, and Marcus Semien. That was close. Close enough for Paul Nauer to call it.
So here's Mark Canha. Just showed you the big hit by Canha. That was in the 3rd.
Cap, it looks like Kendall Gray was not going out for the 5th.
Coulomb still warming up. Tap foul. 29,013 was the attendance for tonight. 29013. They're bundled up a little bit tonight. Day game tomorrow, but it's supposed to be in the upper 40s tomorrow with rain. So not going to change too much the weather. One and one the count to Mark Canha. Strike on the inside corner. Canha just could not pull the trigger. Seager scoops up a little in between hop and throws out Canha for the 2nd out.
You know, Cap, we've talked so much about Matt Chapman, about how strong an arm he has, but this is a play with Cruz running. Watch how he does this. Just a nice, easy, accurate throw. So he really doesn't expend a lot of energy. You don't even see Nelson Cruz coming to the picture. So it's good to be able to adjust, and the more he plays, the more he's going to know the hitters, whether they can run or not. The play last night with Gordon on the bunt, he knew he had to hurry, made a great play. But sometimes you could save a bullet or two by just making the throw as easily as he did. And especially as accurate as the throw was. That's a very good complete play by the 3rd baseman.
Interesting notes here. Major League Baseball ranks among 3rd basemen. First in chances, first in putouts, first in assists. Range factor per game. That's interesting. And he's made just 1 error so far. And all those numbers are taken into account now when they start voting for the Gold Glove.
Did talk to Jim Hughes, who's at Angel Stadium to present the Gold Gloves to Simmons and Maldonado. He, of course, represents Rawlings, former pitcher in the big leagues. But he said the managers and coaches still have about 75% of the votes, but then you have all the analytics that go into it as well. But he said it's amazing how accurate some of the managers and coaches are when it comes to analytics. Sure. And you know, it all factors in together. But it used to be if you're a great outfielder, whether you're center, right, or left, you can win a Gold Glove if they're all center fielders. But now it has to be a specific left, center, or right fielder to win it.
There's a strike. 2-2 the count. Which means there's a lot of good center fielders that are not going to win a Gold Glove. There's a lot of good defensive left fielders who are not going to win a Gold Glove, especially center field, probably. Talked about that with Mike Trout when we were in Anaheim.
Yeah.
Mike Trout's, I think he's a terrific center fielder, but he may not win a Gold Glove.
No, because of the analytics part, and you know, the one thing that could help him was he's such a great offensive player, and a lot of times in the past, managers and coaches would say, okay, that guy, he kills us. Well, he killed offensively,
sure,
not so much defensively, and as a result, awarded the Gold Glove. That guy's won 10. Jim Cott 16, Brooks Robinson 16, Greg Maddux about 16, 17. So there are certain position players or pitchers that are perennial winners. 10-time Gold Glover for Ichiro. And for him to play in left field and not right field, that's strange to see in itself. And one of the first homestand, he robbed a home run in left field, so he's defensive. I mean, why you would take him out for defense whenever he's robbing guys of home runs is beyond me.
So 3-2, and Lowry spoils that pitch.
So fastball away. They're shifting him to the right side. He has 2 strikes. He's got the entire left side of the infield open, with the exception of that'd be Segura. Is it? Seager has moved over. Sometimes they move different guys, but the bottom line, that is Seager, who moves over to shortstop. Segura, so they move just everybody around.
Another foul ball. Now Pedrique knocks it down. So an 8-pitch at bat so far between Chasen Bradford and Jed Lowry. Lowry has an RBI single that was in the 3rd inning. He also popped out to second. Just got a piece of it.
Yeah, they've been the mass of the ball coming up, but it's never good really for catcher to go to one knee with 2 strikes on the hitter. How are you going to block a ball?
Yeah.
You know, that's some of the things you see a lot. Maybe certain pitches, maybe fastballs, they can do it. Figure the fastball is going to be above the dirt.
And that one runs off the plate. What an at bat for Jed Lowry. He gets the walk. So Lowry's aboard, and Chris Davis will hit. Davis has struck out a couple of times.
Chris Davis with Bradford pitching is kind of his speed that you could see him take the outside slider and go to right field, maybe for some distance. Instead, they're going to try to pitch him inside.
And that one well off the plate in. 2-homer game last night for Chris Davis, the 16th time in his career that he has had a multi-homer game. We've seen him have a 3-homer game.
So, yeah, including a walk-off from Grand Slam of the 3-home run game.
That's a good night. Chris Davis has now hit the same amount of home runs in the last 3 years, 2016, 2017, 2018, as Giancarlo Stanton. 89. It's pretty interesting if you think about it. Cruz is on that list, 84.
Do you know the difference in the top 2, Cap, I think, is that I don't know that Chris Davis has been booed. Carlos Stanton is home crowd, but not by the home crowd, maybe. I don't know. I haven't heard that many.
There's another difference.
Huh?
325 million.
Oh, well, that's true, too. That's true, too.
No biggie.
Yeah, that's true. Lost my head there for a moment.
Cool 325.
But he went from a no state income tax state, Florida, to New York.
Yeah. I'm sure he's losing sleep over that, too.
Oh, yeah, probably a lot.
How do the Yankees do today?
I think they got snowed out in Detroit, didn't they?
I think you're right.
I think that's one of the games in the Midwest.
Yeah.
Saw the tarp on the field there. Cleveland, snow in Minneapolis.
Hard hit ball, one hop. Segura's got it, flips to second, side retired. Bottom of the fifth coming up. It'll be Seager, Haniger, and Vogelbach. 5-4 Mariners.
California is brought to you by the Chrysler Pacifica Hybrid, America's first hybrid minivan. Test drive one today.
So Mariners leading the A's 5-4. Bottom of the fifth inning. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change, tune-up, and brake experts. So Danny Coulombe comes in. Last night, Coulombe faced one batter. He walked Cano, and he ended up taking the loss. So 0-1, 2.57 ERA in 7 appearances. And he'll face Seager, Haniger, and Vogelbach.
Well, in our open, we talked about the bullpen here in the fifth inning. They start. So if the A's are going to win this game, have to come back from a deficit of 1, but also the bullpen has to get a whole bunch of outs.
Seager walked in the first, doubled and scored in the third. And Seager bunts it. Coulombe grabs it. He fires to first in time. So Seager just did not get that bunt where he wanted to. With the shift on.
On the line for Kendall Graveman. Right now the A's are trailing, and it's his game. We'd like to see the smile on his face consistently with some quality starts and wins, out unfortunately after 4 innings.
So Haniger steps up. Haniger with a 2-run single in the third. Hits this one well to right field. Piscotty on the run. Piscotty leaps, and that one is gone. Haniger again. He's killing the A's.
Well, you go opposite field in the line drive and pitches up 90 miles per hour, and Piscotty really didn't have much of a chance other than to try to jump up, and you'd like to see a high fly ball. This more of a line drive slicing away from him, and just absolutely no chance except almost to try to wrench his arm as he went up and tried to pull it back. But Great opposite field power last night. Haniger with a 3-run home run left field. This time opposite field.
So Haniger has 7 RBIs in this series. He's got 15 RBIs on the year. 4 runs batted in last night, 3 tonight. Vogelbach, he drives on the right. Piscotty hustling over, not going to get it. Bounces up into the seats for a double.
Got Haniger's home run on StatCast, and again a pitch up and away at 90 miles per hour. And he left his bat and very quickly ends up over the stretch of Piscotty. 101.3 miles per hour out, and not much of a launch angle. Didn't have to be, and that's did not enable Piscotty to even make an attempt.
So here's Ichiro. He bluffs a bunt, takes a strike. Chapman. The shift is on for Ichiro. Still Chapman playing right on the edge of the grass. Maybe a couple steps to his left. Ichiro chant going up by the crowd. Not close. Ichiro has grounded out to first and grounded out to short. Freitas, the on-deck hitter, 1 away here in the 5th. Missed again, 2-1. Emilio Pagan starts to throw for the A's. Vogelbach not being held on. A's next off day will be Thursday. And listen, with the amount that the A's are having to use their bullpen, you have to start looking at when the off days are.
Right. Yeah, maybe hoping for them.
Now the A's with 8 relievers, and it's going to stay that way. Pitch towards Simeon. Simeon knocks it down. He'll throw to third, and the ball gets past Chapman. And Vogelbach's going to try to score. Colon picks it up, throw to the plate, not in time.
Just another check swing by Ichiro and slapping the ball to the only play for Simeon as the ball was slicing away from him was to dive and go to third base, but unfortunately hit the big man in the back. Coulomb was, well, kind of caught in between. He probably did not think there was going to be a play for him to have to back up. And by the time he got the ball, Vogelbach had scored. Ichiro to second, and that quickly the A's down by 3.
So, Ray, it's a single and an E6.
Yep.
So still only 1 out. Here's Freitas. Swing.
Again, in hindsight, you make the plays thinking about it, but if there's no play at third, it's first and third, and Freitas a chance for a double play ground ball. Right now, we'll have to get Freitas out without him driving in. Ichiro from second.
A couple of errors tonight for the Athletics. They now have 9 errors on the year. There is obviously no RBI for Ichiro. Well, right up the middle toward Lowry, who's playing over behind second base. So Freitas is retired.
Think that would have been a double play ground ball?
What's that?
That would have been a double play ground ball.
Yep.
But again, just like the time before when the A's scored their 3. In hindsight, it's 2020, but you never know.
So Ichiro now at third, and D. Gordon steps up. Chapman knows Gordon will bunt at any time, anywhere. So Chapman even with the bag.
And Canna has moved in several steps from left field.
And there's a strike. Fastball on the inside corner. Gordon, 2 singles, a fly ball to right field. He has scored a run. Gordon's average at 340 with his 2 for 3 tonight. Taps this one. It's going to be a tough play. Lucroy has it. His throw. He will not make a throw. Ichiro comes in to score, and it's 8-4 Seattle. A swinging bunt, and he laid it out there perfect, and it's a base hit and an RBI.
And Bob Melvin going to the bullpen again, but you're right. And the curveball tapped. Lucroy the only chance. And really never had a grip. And by the time he picked the ball up, D. Gordon, who smelled the base hit, tremendous speed down the line. And you might as well just put it in your pocket. Not going to throw him out anyway.
So Pagan coming in. It's a 3 spot here in the 5th for Seattle.
May not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Athletics Investment Group, LLC.
Well, the Mariners have scored 3 runs here in the bottom of the 5th to extend their lead to 8-4. And Emilio Pagan comes in. So Pagan just trying to get the A's back in the dugout as he'll face Segura. 12 hits for the Mariners in this game. So D. Gordon, 3 hits in the first 5 innings. So here's Pagan. He last pitched on Wednesday at Dodger Stadium.
A familiar mound for Pagan,
Yep.
but different uniform.
Gordon runs.
First move.
Lucroy's throw is not nearly in time, so that is fairly easy stolen base for Guy Gordon. He is a premier base stealer.
Well, the first step, it's almost like if Pagan had looked again, he would have gotten him, because about the time he lifted his leg, he was gone, and Segura just stepped out and said, fine, I'm not going to swing. That's a great jump. That's the first step. Straight steal all the way.
So 6 for 6 in stolen base opportunities for Gordon, now in scoring position, and Lowry trying to keep him close at second base. This one's popped up on the infield. It'll be Lucroy who waits. Foul territory. He grabs it. Side retired. Damage done. 3 runs for the Mariners. They now lead 8-4 after 5.
Day in Minnesota challenger, the bald eagle gets confused and thinks, hey, James Paxton is his keeper. Tries to land on his shoulder. Paxton was cool. The eagle has landed. Looked like he's going to pick him up, huh? But what a shot. And Paxton was very cool about it. And there's the bald eagle just.
But the thing is, what do you do?
Well, there's not much of anything. No. And just say, well, challenger, do whatever you're going to do. Tell you what, he was cool about it, though. Yep. I mean, just maybe he was so cold in Minnesota and Minneapolis, he just decided let him do whatever he's going to do. Well, we know in his future, when he's out of baseball, he can be a bald eagle keeper.
Yep.
You know, maybe that's his job.
When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change, tune-up, and brake expert. So Dan Altavilla comes in. He pitched last night. Chapman tries to bunt and bunted it a little bit too close to Altavilla, who throws him out. This is his 7th appearance. And he was actually the winning pitcher last night for the Mariners. Pitched an inning, a walk and a strikeout, nothing else.
Well, people are going to say that Scott Service made a quick hook on starting pitcher Marco Gonzalez. You can see the shift from Matt Olson, 3 to the right side, a couple on the outfield grass. But Scott Service made the move, ended up getting the double play overturned. They thought they had tied the game. And instead, it was a double play.
Matt Olson, a fly ball to right, and then hit by a pitch. A little bit in. fouled the bat. Well, the A's with 3 in the third and 1 in the fourth for their 4 runs. The Mariners 3 in the second, 2 in the third, 3 in the fifth. 8-4. Mariners looking for their 4th consecutive win and trying to get their 8th win of the year. They're 7-4.
To get off a good start for the Mariners, just like the Angels and the Astros. Some surprising teams having good starts. And Angels aren't one of them. They were expected to have a better start to their season considering the additions, but Robinson Cano, I mean, the Mariners, been a long time since they've been to postseason.
Too long.
Yep.
If you're asking them.
They've made every effort signing guys long term, signing free agents.
Yeah, it's not for lack of effort from the organization. They're not afraid to spend money. But the last time they went to the postseason was 2001.
And you think that's a year they're going to win it all, considering the games they won.
Swing and a miss. Olsen strikes out. Yeah.
Oh yeah, 116 wins. That's what I mean. They win that many games, they should win the whole thing. And Lou Piniella was the manager, and it was Piniella, and that's 16 seasons. Postseason droughts, not World Series, postseason droughts.
See that note right there, Ray? It gets worse. It's the longest playoff drought
in all sports.
4 major North American sports: NHL, NBA, NFL, MLB.
I mean, you think postseason. Now the A's, they were there in 14, actually, if you want to call the wild card play-in, 13. Last World Championship was '89. Mariners have never won a World Championship. But to be 16 years without even postseason, playing in October. Derek Jeter, when he played every October except I think 2 in his whole career. Didn't know what to do the first year that they weren't in the playoffs.
And the Mariners are one of 7 teams to have never won a World Series. They're one of 2 teams to never have played in a World Series. The Nationals/Expos never played in a World Series, and neither have the Mariners. It's their 42nd year in existence, and they're still looking for a World Series appearance. It's a good organization. And a nice ballpark.
Well, it was the '95 season. There's a banner up there for the Western Division champions. It was the '95 season that really helped develop and get this new stadium. Thanks to the great comeback, King Griffey Jr., the Hall of Famer. Edgar Martinez waiting to go to the Hall of Fame. He hopes soon. Just missed out this year.
3-1 to Lou Croy. And that's a strike. So really, correct me if I'm wrong, Ray, but they never drew great at the Kingdome.
No. Because
but then in '95 it started because they finally made it to the postseason.
But the difference, I mean, this is great, but the elements are still here. At the Kingdome, it was a completely closed all the time. So when there are nice days, nobody wanted to go in and watch baseball. When they could go do something out on the lake, the water, do whatever. But this, I mean, it's retractable. It helps in this weekend because baseball probably would not have been played this weekend had it been an outdoor-only stadium. So it's it worked out well. But you're right, the '95 season, that tremendous comeback, and Edgar Martinez with a double down the left field line pulled the hands in against the Yankees, and King Griffey Jr. ran through the stop sign at third, scores. And
going.
My, the great Dave Niehaus with the call. And what a display they have out in the entrance to the press box here with Dave Niehaus, and there's the wide concourses here at Safeco Field. So it's a good stadium and great location, built right across the street from the Kingdome. So they built this while they were playing there, and then moved in here, imploded the King Dome, and the Seahawks built a stadium there, so baseball and football only.
So quick 0-2 to Piscotty. The A's with a 2-out base runner. Piscotty with an RBI single. That was in the fourth. He's 1 for 2. Reach for that one a little bit. Pops it up to shallow center. Gordon waits. And he's got it. So Pavilla gives a walk. It's a strikeout. No damage done by the A's as we head to the bottom of the 6th.
Office are on the go with MLB.tv. Your subscription includes MLB at Bat Premium, allowing you to watch live baseball on your favorite supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions do apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. Got thinking about another part of this game, which really it's immaterial now, but because the A's are down. But the double play ground ball that Joyce hit into, the A's had scored what would have been the tying run. But it was overturned, so the A's lost a run. Meanwhile, Kendall Graveman left, and now the pitcher of record with the Mariners adding 3 more, and the A's traded by 4. And, small things, but if the A's had tied it and Kendall Graveman would have had to come out, at least they can walk away and say it's a no decision, even though he didn't pitch his best, that we know he can. And in order for the A's to have success, he needs to be pitching better, and will be doing that eventually.
Pagan got the final out in the 5th. And he'll face Cano, Cruz, and Seager, the big hitters in the middle of this Mariners lineup. Robinson Cano has walked, struck out, and singled. Cano is halfway through that 10-year contract he signed, year 5 of the 10-year deal, so he is signed through 2023. Seager has a long-term deal. Segura has a long-term deal. D. Gordon coming over in the trade. He has a long-term contract. Interesting with Nelson Cruz, who's in the on-deck circle. Cruz is a free agent at the end of the year, and Nelson Cruz, he's not a young guy anymore.
He still hit.
He's 37 years old. He's a full-time DH, but he can still hit, and you wonder if the Mariners will keep him around.
I would say that if they offer him an extension, he better take it.
Yeah,
considering the market and especially players of that age. I think someone said in the offseason that they calculated the number of games players of 35 years or older played last year, and there were not that many. Not that many players, not that many games played. And in light of what happened in the free agent market this past offseason, Jerry Dipoto, the general manager, will have that decision to make. Right now, he's looking for wins, trying to keep close to the Angels and the Astros, who are both playing very well. And the A's trying to do themselves to get back in contention.
Lauer on the backhand, flips it on the run in time, and that's out number 1.
Jed Lowry to his right, and like his counterpart on the throw, on the move, and across his body. Very strong arm.
So here is Cruz. It would be hard to say Cruz has lost any bat speed as he's gotten older. His home run totals the last 4 years: 40, 44, 43, and 39.
Not bad.
So if you don't sign him, you have to have somebody to replace him.
Well,
and those are hard numbers to replace.
And do you give him a qualifying offer? And does he accept? I mean, if he's 37 and somebody offers qualifying, which is probably going to be 18 mil, not a bad payday.
That one is skied to left. Canna into the corner, and he's got room, and he makes the catch for the second out. There's most home runs hit since 2009. But how about this, Ray? If Mariners were to offer him the qualifying offer, which is $17 million, he's got to think about taking it.
That's exactly right. That's right.
Because is he going to get a 2-year contract for $34 million?
Nope.
Probably not.
I don't think so. I think he may be sitting like some of the players are, like Melky Cabrera, still without a job, because
this guy is. He's a premier power hitter still.
And I was just going to say, because of that, and because he's limiting his playing to American League only, can't play.
Yep, no
he's
question.
going to have to DH. He does play some right field, or at least did, but right now it's probably strictly DHing.
Well, that'll be an interesting decision for the Seattle Mariners. Mariners payroll this year is $164 million, so that's in the top 10.
And I think in round baseball, American League, of course, is the only one that has the DH rule year round. But with David Ortiz retired,
and that one is belted, and that's not good. Seager homers.
And he just missed one earlier down the right field line. This one, a no-doubter to right center. You were right last night, end of the season. He'll have his 25 to 30 and close to 100 runs driven in. And this is right center, one of the biggest parts of the park. But think about Emilio Pagan. While he is very good, when he throws his fastball, it's straight, not much movement on the pitch. And that ball was crushed by Kyle Seager.
So third home run for the Mariners in this game, and their 5th in this series. Seager, 3 home runs and 11 RBIs now on the season.
Time now for the Chrysler drive of the game. How about this one to right field by Mitch Haniger, a 90-mile-an-hour fastball. Danny Coulomb, I think, knew he had a pretty good chance of going out. Great effort by Stephen Piscotty as he climbed the wall, but such a line drive slicing away from him, not much of an opportunity to get back to the wall and make the play.
This one's hit very high toward left center. It's going to stay in the ballpark for Mark Canha. Side retired. Seager with a homer, his 3rd of the year. 7th inning coming up. It's now 9-4 Mariners.
Black Panther, seen by my partner. Oakland A's and Marvel are proud to release a glow-in-the-dark Black Panther bobblehead in honor of Oakland and hometown director Ryan Coogler. Fans can snag this one-of-a-kind bobblehead Saturday, May the 5th. That's versus the Baltimore Orioles, brought to you by Comerica Bank. Be one of 15,000 fans to get yours upon entering the ballpark. Visit athletics.com/promotions to grab your piece of Oakland history. And if you'd like my partner, go to the movie and big box of popcorn, bottomless pit, right? Is that
Sure.
good?
You bet.
Sit with all your friends?
Yep. So back to the bullpen for the Seattle Mariners. This will be the veteran left-hander. We know him a little bit, Mark Sepczynski, who is now 32 years old. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change, tune-up, and brake expert. Sepczynski's second year with Seattle. 2016, he was with the A's before being traded to the Nationals right around the trade deadline. Been around a long time. This is his 9th year in the big leagues. He'll face Joyce, Simeon, and Canna here in the 7th inning. And Joyce came in the game in the 4th inning as a pinch hitter. He hit into that 4-6-3 double play. Little slider for a strike. Good pitch. Angels won again, 5-3 in Kansas City. So that is the 7th straight win for the Angels, and they are now 13-3. Shift on. Segura takes care of it. So it looks like we started a little winning streak for the Angels.
That's right. Yes, indeed. And that means Shohei Ohtani is still scheduled to pitch tomorrow.
Tomorrow it's supposed to be very, very cold in Kansas City. I'm surprised they got that game in today, but it is supposed to be in the mid-30s tomorrow in Kansas City. So we'll see if that game is played, but it is supposed to be Ohtani. Mike Trout hit his 6th home run, and Garrett Richards got the win.
Mike Trout probably in his offense going to make a lot of people forget about whether he's won a Gold Glove or not.
I think you're right.
If that's the only negative he has in his career, so be it.
Rays, the Angels, Ray, have scored 103 runs in 16 games. They're averaging 6.5 runs per game. It is a good lineup.
Yes,
we saw it. 1-1 the count to Marcus Simeon.
And you know, that kind of run scoring really helps the starting pitching and pitching in general, because they don't have to worry about every pitch being so critical. And get Garrett Richards staying healthy. Ohtani's pitching well. JC Ramirez, bad luck pitcher, but again, runs, offense at times, and I think sometimes the offense can say to the pitchers, just do your best, hold them as well as you can. We'll take care of the rest. They still play the game the right way. They do the little things to help themselves.
Good swing by Marcus Simeon, fouls it off the facing of the second level. Rangers came back and beat the Astros 6-5. Texas was down by 5 in that game, but they came storming back. Good win for the Rangers. Joey Gallo hit his 5th home run. Strike 3 called on the inside corner. Simeon not happy.
He's thinking outside, and the ball just kept running in. He backed off, but at 86 caught the inside corner. And maybe just fooled, maybe couldn't pick up the pitch.
So that's the 3rd time Simeon has struck out in this game, and with 2 outs, Marcana steps up. Marcana with a big hit in the game, 2-run single in the 3rd. There's that inside corner. We've seen the Mariners pitchers pound that inside corner today or tonight. Had some success doing that. Tried it again, but missed inside. Sometimes, Ray, it's not just a pitcher thing, it's a entire staff thing, right?
Right.
See staffs that like to pitch inside. Of course, it could just be the game plan for tonight. That was hooked down the left field line, but foul. Home run distance, that would not have been a problem. Well, foul.
It could also be the catcher. Freitas and the game plan combined with the catcher who likes to call the pitches inside.
High and deep to left. Ichiro's going to watch this, and that baby's gone. Canna with a 3 RBI night.
That's not often, partner, that you see someone pull a ball down the left field line. You think the distance, and then the very next pitch hits one way fair and way over the bullpens. Good swing, Mark Canna, and got the hips through it. The 92-mile-an-hour fastball, and a no-doubter. And again, let's not forget a few years ago when the A's had him as a Rule 5, and he had a tremendous season. Then had hip surgery, and the way he's swinging the bat, he may find some playing time.
Good power swing.
No doubter. Big time.
Right. Well over the A's bullpen. To Jed Lowry, so it's 9-5. Fourth home run in the series hit by the Athletics. Not close, 3-0. He's now hit 19 home runs in 15 games this year. Zubinski has to throw a strike there, and he does. Cano shaded up the middle. Gordon in center, just shaded slightly toward right center. Haniger shallow and toward the line and right. And that one's driven toward right center, and Gordon's not going to get it. So second hit for Lowry. Well, it is only the 7th inning.
Yeah. Another pitch outside. Jed, a very good job as he did against Diekman at home, hitting the ball off the wall. This for the left-hander outside, goes with it perfectly, and that's why I think it's very tough to shift Jed Lowry, because he does use the whole field, and it's going to be a new pitcher. They see the whole bullpen of the Mariners tonight.
So right-hander looks like Nick Vincent coming in. Mariners with a 9-5 lead as it is the top of the 7th. We'll be back. at first, 2 outs. And for the Mariners, it's pitcher number 5. His name is Nick Vincent. 1-0, 4.15 ERA for Vincent. Vincent is 31 years old. He's had back-to-back very solid seasons for San Diego. Pitched in 60 games in 2016, 69 games last year. So a workhorse and pretty valuable for Seattle. Shouldn't forget, Ray, the Mariners, they were planning on having a very good bullpen. They signed Nicasio. They had Vincent, Diaz the closer, Zubczynski the lefty, Pazos pretty good left-hander, but they also had David Phelps. Remember they traded for him from the Marlins last year, and Phelps a very, very good reliever. But he got hurt last year a little bit, and then this year, Tommy John surgery.
That's right.
Davis hits one high and deep, left center field. Gordon near the wall, and that baby's gone.
Just like that. There are the A's.
9-7. Another home run for Chris Davis.
Got a home run by Canna. That's 1. Chris Davis hits his 5th. And that's a 2-run shot. Fastball, center cut. He really doesn't throw that hard. Vincent doesn't, and like he just kind of guided the ball down the middle. Just out of the reach, into the party deck. No Cerveza splattering this time. You're right, Kevin. Just the 7th inning.
Yep. So the Chris Davis in his career, 17 home runs in 40 games, including 8 right here. Fun to watch. So indeed, a ball game. Chris Davis now with 5 homers and 12 RBIs. Zubczynski ends up giving up the home run to Canna, and then Lowry scores, so he gives up 2 runs in 2/3 of an inning. Chapman drives one right field. That's hit well. Haniger's back, and Haniger makes a very nice running catch. Well, Chapman hit it on a line, but Haniger with a heck of a play. A's are back in it. Canna with a solo homer. Davis with a 2-run homer. It's a 3 spot for the A's. It's now 9-7 as we have reached the 7th inning stretch.
by Toyota. Designed for the grind that comes through every time. See your local Toyota dealer today. Toyota. Let's go places. By Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. And by Xfinity. X1 will change the way you experience TV.
Well, Mark Canha homered, Chris Davis homered, and we got a ball game. 9-7 Mariners. Bottom of the 7th inning. So the A's have hit a couple of home runs. Mariners have hit 3 tonight. So 5 home runs total in the game. Plenty of offense.
But here's your StatCast, and keeps going. Left center, just a tremendous power. Leaves his bat. You think, well, 30 degrees launch angle, 400 feet at 102 miles per hour. So the A's, a couple of more opportunities, and it's up to the bullpen to make sure they do not give up any more runs. Figure Nicasio in the 8th, and going to see Diaz probably the 9th as it stands right now.
So Pagan, an inning and a third so far, facing Vogelbach, Ichiro, and Freitas. Vogelbach 1 for 3. He doubled and scored in the 5th. He's also struck out a couple of times. And it's 2-0. Vogelbach getting a fair amount of playing time at first base, taking the place of Ryan Healy. And that's a strike. Last year the Mariners had Danny Valencia, who got a lot of the playing time at first base, and then they traded for Yonder Alonso. Good off-speed pitch by Pagan. Those guys are gone. And Gerard Dyson last year, he's gone.
Yeah. Valencia in Baltimore played today against the Red Sox, and Alonso a 2-year contract with the Indians. Valencia was late even signing.
Yep.
Had to go to AAA of the Orioles and made the club.
Pagan kicks and deals, and that one is belted deep to right, but it's going to be well fouled.
Doesn't get cheated, does it?
Look good. So another 2-2 from Pagan to Vogelbach. Spoiled a pretty good pitch. So Pagan 22 pitches. Did not pitch last night. It was Hatcher, Petit, Casilla, Buchter, Colon. Those are the 5 that pitched last night. Crushed. Oh my goodness. Into the cafe.
Said hit it here, and it did.
He did. It went right above the cafe sign, we believe.
Wow.
What they like to say, Reed, he leaned on that one.
He hit it here, and he hit it over it.
Wow. Yep. It went over the sign.
Wow.
Well, we don't have any Safeco Field facts, but that has to be one of the longest home runs
Let's get StatCast on it. Probably left it about 200 miles an hour off his bat.
It's on its way to Tacoma.
Wow.
So when it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change, tune-up, and brake experts. Daniel Vogelbach.
StatCast. This should be interesting. 433. Forget about that. 111 mile per hour. Exit velocity. 28 degree line drive, and he came close. What does he get if he hits it there? Other than a broken sign.
That was impressive. So Yusmeiro Petit comes in. So Emilio Pagan goes an inning and a third, gives up 2 home runs, one to Seager and one to Vogelbach. And now 2-0.
Well, just when the A's come close, they thinking about getting close as the 2-run home run by Chris Davis got him to within 2. Then there goes another home run. It's Petit, 9th game already for the Athletics.
Good pitch there, right on the outside corner. Yeah, you could smile on that one, young man. Two and one to Ichiro, who is 1 for 3. And he drives one to right. Piscotty's going to have room. As Ichiro got underneath that one away. And that'll bring up Freitas, the catcher. Well, that gives you a better idea of how far back that level is where the ball went in. Right above that red sign. Freitas wanted to do the same thing the other way, but he missed it.
You know, if you close your eyes and just listen, you know the sound off the bat of Vogelbach. It was going to be a long shot.
The A's have allowed a lot of home runs this year. Certainly don't want that to become an issue. They've allowed 24 home runs now in 15 games.
Okay, if the A's do not come back and win this game.
Canna's not going to get it. Bounces in front of him for a hit.
You think of the 5 home runs they hit last Friday in Anaheim. 3 they hit last night. 2 tonight. That's 10 home runs. You have a chance to be 0-3.
Yep.
Hitting 10 home runs.
Giving up too many.
Yeah.
So that is 15 hits now for Seattle. 7-8-2 for the A's, 10-15-0 for Seattle. And now top of the order, D. Gordon, who hits for the 5th time. He is 3 for 4.
Marquette is playing a lot more shallow than he did the first 2 at-bats by D. Gordon. And for Gordon, who just slapped the ball in left field, got a couple of hits. Next time, he had a line drive to right field that was caught, so you can the left part of your screen. So he's playing shallow. Playing there the first 2, might have been able to catch it. Gordon did score on the second one.
Up the middle. Lowry has it out at second, throw to first, but not in time. So Gordon is aboard on a fielder's choice, 2 away.
Well, at that point, no chance. The other thing, you know, maybe they should have done is just throw to first and get Gordon and leave Freitas at second, because Gordon's going to steal. So,
He may.
I mean, he's got to take off. You figure that with 2 outs.
Yeah, with 2 outs, why not?
Yeah.
He's got 1 tonight. That was in the 5th inning. He stole second base.
And as easily as he stole that one, you'd figure that even if they pitch out, you know, why waste a pitch out? Took a couple of steps back towards first, and Petit threw over anyway.
The most steals Gordon has had in a season, 64. That was in 2014 with the Dodgers. Last year, 60. He's also stole 58.
Well, the thing that Gordon does, it seems a little bit more than maybe Billy Hamilton. He gets on base more.
Yeah, that's a good point.
There's the lead. You have to get on to steal bases.
I mean, Gordon hit 308 last year. And that's a base hit right up the middle. Gordon is going to stop at second base. Yeah, I don't know that there's a better base stealer out there than Billy Hamilton.
No,
but
he's got to get on.
His on base percentage is below 290.
Well, Gordon smartly just stopped at second on that one. And really, it seemed like in this inning or this at bat by Segura, Gordon was not interested in trying to steal. But a little bit of a disruption perhaps for Petit. Gave a pretty good pitch for Segura to hit. He did up the middle. Now you got to face this guy.
Well, it seems like Cano bats 7 or 8 times a game. Instead, it's just his 5th time. He's 1 for 3. A walk, a strikeout, a single, and a ground out. First pitch to Cano. Swings at a pitch in the dirt. I was thinking last night after the game, right, about the lineups in the AL West, and there's some very, very good lineups. We've seen the Angels. We know how deep they are. We know all about the Astros.
Right.
I think when Healy's healthy and Zunino and Gamble and Crew, this is a very good lineup. And the A's lineup is going to score a lot of runs. Rangers, don't know yet, but I mean, I think you have 4 lineups that are going to score a bunch, including the Athletics. So not an easy division to pitch in.
Well, it does come down to the old wonderful pitching, and the team that has the best pitching is the one that's going to win. And well, right now you'd have to look at the Astros with their very well-loaded starting staff, and bullpen also is very good.
Yeah, especially over the course of a long season.
Right.
Astros have good pitchers that are ready to go a lot. And how about Gordon just took off? Ball got flipped back to Yasmero Petit, and Gordon just took off. How about that?
You know, we saw Rajay Davis do it when Derek Norris was catching.
flip it back. And Chapman playing over a little bit on the shift, and you know Gordon saw that.
And once again, there are 2 outs in the inning, so it does make a difference. That's the only thing on a ground ball.
And now Segura runs. Lucroy's throw to second base. And that's in time. No call by the second base umpire. So you know what? We're just going to make it ourselves. He's out.
What is going on, Scott? He never gave a call, did he?
Or did they call Cano? Was Cano out on the strike?
No, it's just 1-1. Oh, it's just 1 and 2.
He struck out. Yeah, he struck out.
It's
so sorry, Scott. So Cano strikes out. A home run for the Mariners. They lead 10-7. So 10-7 is the score, top of the 8th inning. Make sure you join us tomorrow as the A's will wrap up this series and the road trip here at Safeco Field. Sean Manaea and Felix Hernandez. Coverage begins at 12:30 with A's pregame live. That's the pitching matchup. Manaea off to a very good start. Felix Hernandez got a couple of wins, high ERA. Remember, you can now stream the A's on the go with NBCSportsCalifornia.com and the NBC Sports app. So it is the 6th pitcher of the ball game for Seattle. Juan Nicasio pitched last night. Nicasio, 7th appearance, ERA of 5.40. So we apologize to Scott Berry, the second base umpire. We were giving him a hard time. Robinson Cano was called out on strikes.
But you know, it kind of fit in for the night.
There's a lot going on.
I mean, with everything that was happening.
Heredian left, Motter at first. That's your defensive replacements. And Nicasio, the new pitcher. And it's 1-2.
That guy first base, is that Isabel Harris? That was the giveaway last night.
Taylor Motter?
Yeah.
Ben Gamel's got the long hair as well. Ben Gamel,
yeah, they both do. They've got it.
Swing and a miss on a high fastball. Olsen strikes out for the second time. So the A's have now struck out 9 times tonight.
Well, they're just the high fastball, and for Matt Olson, a couple of strikeouts, and he was hit by a pitch with 2 strikes.
Here's Lucroy, a couple of walks, run scored, and a fly ball to center field. There was 3 games postponed today. Yankees at the Tigers, White Sox at the Twins, Blue Jays at the Indians. Bad weather all over the Midwest. I mean, it's actually in Minnesota, Minneapolis, right? It's a blizzard.
Well, I
10
saw
to 12 inches.
I saw a picture of the field, Target Field, and as much heat as they want to have.
It's like December.
Yeah,
Middle of winter.
yeah.
And so all three of those games were postponed. The White Sox Twins game in the place where we're talking about, where there's a blizzard, they called off tomorrow's game as well for obvious reasons. And that's the White Sox, and that's who the A's play at the Coliseum Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So if the White Sox were able to get out of Minneapolis due to the weather, I'm sure they, well, I don't know what they did. If they got out and headed to the Bay Area, or
if their plane wasn't going to come to tomorrow,
yeah,
they may.
knows?
Yeah.
But it's interesting. So the White Sox, right? They did not play Friday, they did not play Saturday, and they did not play Sunday. So their timing's going to be off. The A's are going to be ready. But that's strange.
That is strange.
Strikes out. So they're itching to play a game, I would guess.
Well, for some reason they could postpone the Monday game. They'd show up their first game with 55,000 people.
That's true, yeah.
On Tuesday night.
But they, and those other games, Yankees at the Tigers tomorrow, Blue Jays at the Indians, there is supposed to be brutal weather again in those cities. And quite frankly, I don't think there's going to be baseball in those ballparks tomorrow either. It's a bad kind of that last winter storm that sometimes blows through the Midwest in April, and they're getting it.
Well, watching the Boston game today, and they said that the storm from the Midwest is going to be heading their direction.
Sure.
So they're going to get a lot of that bad weather.
Kansas City tomorrow, as I mentioned, it's supposed to be 35 degrees and windy for the Angels Royals game. So there's going to be more cancellations tomorrow, and the schedule is going to start getting backed up. It already is getting backed up. But you talk about teams losing full series, 3 games. That's when issues start to build up with the stadium, even if it's within the division. That one's hit well to right, and that baby's gone. Piscotty has a home run in the green and gold, going the other way.
Well, Chris Davis took Nicasio deep last night, and A's pulled to within 2. Great opposite field hitting by Piscotty, and no doubter. Line drive, went with it perfectly. Pretty good pitch by Nicasio at 94, but Piscotty, a great swing going opposite field. So to the Piscotty family in Pleasant, if you're watching, there's your boy right there going opposite field, and wearing the number 25. For a guy who hit 363 home runs wearing that number, 25 for the A's, but Piscotty his first as a member of the Athletics.
Here's Matt Joyce, who takes outside. So Piscotty starting to heat up a little bit, swing the bat better.
I'm just looking at the Mariners. They go to Toronto and Detroit in May, and oh, by the way, on the way home after the game in Detroit, they're going to stop by Minneapolis and play the makeup game.
So that's that makeup. Was on the 14th?
May 14th. Yeah, I was talking to Rick Riz, and he said that's the makeup that they have, but it's and they're going to have to do it.
But you think about White Sox and Twins, and obviously they're in the same division, so that helps a lot. But you have to make up 3 games.
Yeah.
And who knows with the Twins? The Twins, they stay home after this weekend. They're off on Monday.
Jeez.
But they play Tuesday and Wednesday at home.
Wow.
And it is not supposed to improve weather-wise a whole lot. Now, it's not going to keep snowing,
but for them, it's going to be with the off day. That's 4 days that they're not going to play the game.
Yeah, that's right.
Assuming they're going to play on Tuesday and Wednesday. Well, a few years ago, and I can't remember exactly which year, but the Mariners opened the season in Cleveland and it snowed the whole weekend.
That's right.
They missed every game and had to make up 3 throughout the season because they only had 1 trip there.
Segura grabs it, and that is the 3rd out. Steven Piscotty, his first home run as a member of the Oakland A's, and we think there's going to be a bunch more. Goes the other way. It's now 10-8 as we head to the bottom of the 8th. Toyota dealers. Well, the scoreboard says a lot, and it's been that kind of game. Kind of crazy. 8-9-2 for the A's. 10-16-0 for the Mariners. The Mariners have hit 4 home runs, and the A's have hit 3 home runs. Crazy. Just plain crazy.
And you know, the game that Gonzalez started last, or pitched against the A's last year in 4 innings, there were 7 home runs hit in that game.
That's right. And we're not done yet here either.
Yeah, that's true.
Canna, Davis, Piscotty for the Athletics. So it's a 10-8 game. Nelson Cruz in his first game back from the disabled list. And for Cruz, this is just his 3rd game. One and one the count. He's 1 for 4. As Ray mentioned, the Mariners opened up in Cleveland. No, actually, they opened up at home against Cleveland.
Yeah, a few years ago, they opened in Cleveland.
Right. I'm sorry.
With the snow.
We're talking about this year.
Yeah, this year they opened. This actually, the series is the first against the Western Division.
But Cruz hit a home run and then was headed down the stairs toward the batting cages, and he just turned his ankle, and that was it.
Because, you know, I wrote some question the other day about baseball players taping their ankles. You think of Ryan Healy, hurt his working out. Yeah. Matt Joyce hit the bag at 3rd, tripped, rolled over. And then Nelson Cruz, and I'm sure there are others, but you'd have to wonder if the tape. I need to ask Nick Paparista, the head trainer for the Athletics, and see how many guys actually tape their ankles.
Maybe after the fact, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So they don't re-hurt their ankle. Healy was taking quite a bit of batting practice today, so he looked like he was getting close.
This is a long shot, tailor-made fastball, and Seager didn't miss it. That was against Emilio Pagan.
Seager also has a double and a walk, so he's had a good ball game. Everything is final now around Major League Baseball. The Mets actually lost a game today. The Brewers beat the Mets. The Mets had won 9 in a row. But they lost today, so the Mets are 11-2. That's a little bit of a surprise, although there's a fair amount of talent on that Mets team if they can put it all together. Boston won, going to 12-2.
But it's amazing, though, to see and hear some of the records of certain teams.
That's Marcus Semien, who cannot quite come up with it. Seager's aboard. So Semien with that shift, he's the one who moves out to shallow right field. So it is a base hit.
Yeah, and you know, playing the outfield that deep, it's not that easy of a play with the top spin, and Marcus upset that he missed it, but really by the time it hits right there and then picks up speed as he takes it off to the side and misses it. I was thinking about all these records, and I mean, we're in the middle of April. A lot of baseball left, and you know, you start fast forwarding, and the teams are off to the good starts. Where they're going to be when it's mid-season, late season, and you know, as the old saying goes, the cream rises to the top. You play where you're supposed to play and hit and everything, but you know, warm weather is going to have a big factor in the season as it does warm up. A lot of cold areas back east. Even here, it's cold. But at least the A's have been able to play every game so far this season without any interruptions.
Usually, it doesn't mean they don't end up having a good season, but you usually forget about the teams that played well in April.
Absolutely.
I mean, you just,
yeah.
I mean, could you tell me who had a good April last year? I don't know. You just don't remember. So Diaz, the closer, is getting ready. But you may remember who had a good September. There's a strike. The Diamondbacks beat the Dodgers again, 9-1 at Dodger Stadium. Arizona off to a terrific start. They're 11-3. Dodgers are 4-9, so we saw the Dodgers for 2 games. A's pounded them pretty bad on Wednesday, and the Diamondbacks have scored a bunch of runs off them in the first 2 games of that series. Haniger chases outside the strike zone.
Well, she struck out.
So 2 away. Osmero Petit, who did pitch in last night's game briefly.
Yeah, he came out before Cano came up, and I think, you know, sometimes you look at matchups and what guys have done against certain guys, and you think back to last night. And again, it's the old hypothetical, but it was Coulomb who faced Cano, and he walked it. Petit tonight struck him out. And not to say that would happen last night, but sometimes the matchups don't always work out.
And Chapman could not quite get him on a very close play. It was a little bit of an in-between hop, and Chapman knocked it down. Unfortunately, it just rolled away from him a little further than he had hoped, and he still almost retired him.
If he came up with a good grip initially, probably would have.
So it's going to be an error on Chapman. So that's the 3rd error for the A's in this game. Those could be the greatest shoes I've ever seen.
PF Flyers?
PF Flyers. Benny the Jet. Benny the Jet made him famous, man.
Yes, he did.
25-year anniversary of the Sandlot, Ray.
That's right.
You know, those guys, the Sandlot crew was at Anaheim the other night, and we never saw them.
They were?
Yes. Like 8 of them. And they were down in the field, and we never got a chance.
We didn't see Smalls?
Did not see Smalls.
Remember a few years ago he was in the booth next to us?
Yes. Yeah, the great Hambino was next to us. Timmy and Tommy Timmons. Smalls. Wendy Peppercorn. They were all there. Yeah, Taylor Motter just became my favorite opposing player thanks to the PF Flyers. 0-1 to Guillermo Heredia, his first at bat. Came in for defense, and he skies one to shallow right. Lowry out, Piscotty in, Lowry grabs it side, retired. Couple of runners left, last shot for the A's. Who knows what can happen? It's 10-8 with Diaz coming in.
But our gift to the city is right around the corner. Parking lots open at 12 o'clock noon. Parking is free. That's Tuesday night. Arrive early. Gates open for season ticket members. 3:30 p.m. All fans at 4:30 p.m. All seats are general admission. First come, first served. Season ticket members will have an exclusive general admission seating area. All tickets have been distributed. Additional tickets are not available online or at the box office on game day. Go to athletics.com/50 for more details. It's coming up Tuesday against the Chicago White Sox, the 50th anniversary of your Athletics first game at the Coliseum. So look forward to a packed house and the White Sox in town, saying that, wow, there's people coming out to watch us play. Actually, they're coming out to watch the A's.
Here's Edwin Diaz, who got the save last night. 21 pitches for Diaz, so he's back out there tonight. 1-1 the count, facing the top of the A's order. Simeon, Canna, and Lowry, and hopefully Davis and Chapman. 10-8 Mariners lead in a wild one tonight here at Safeco. And there's a strike, 96 miles an hour, 1-2 the count. Simeon is 1 for 4 with a double, a run scored, and 3 strikeouts. Hits that one on the ground. Segura has it, fires across, in time, 1 away.
The great thing about the A's tonight, they have not rolled over. 4 runs in the last 2 innings, trying to add at least a couple more to at least tie the game. But the one thing you have to appreciate about what the A's have done is that they've continued to battle back.
Big night for Mark Canna. He's knocked in 3 with a single and a homer.
And this is the big boy. Long fly ball off Stepsinski, and only the 3rd home run this year hit for the against left-handers by the Athletics. Chad Pinder, who we should be seeing next week off the DL. See owns Cole Hamels. Alex Wood gave one up to Chris Davis, and Stepsinski tonight.
Well, the A's need Chris Davis to bat here in the 9th inning.
Yes, they do. That would be great. Gino Caff, as we talked about in our open, the bullpen overworked again tonight. 5 runs they've given up.
No question.
And
4
that's,
innings.
yeah, that's the difference. And Kendall Graveman, unfortunately, the 5 in his 4 innings. Still a pitcher of record. But maybe Diaz can get a little wild.
He did last night.
Oof.
Just a little bit.
Yes, and Mark Canna almost got it in the 20. You think of the rib cage, that's not taking one for the team.
Didn't have to be a strike.
No, it didn't. No.
I think it was a little inside, and it was just a touch.
I think if he called that a ball, he's still going to be graded positively when it comes to the grading system, just because of that ball just near the zone.
Popped up right near the mound, and Cano hustles in, and Robinson Cano grabs it, and that's out number 2. Now it's up to Lowry to try to keep the game going. 2 more hits tonight for Jed, 2 singles. He's also walked, knocked in a run, and scored a run, so his average up to 328. First pitch, fastball for a strike. Remember tomorrow, Sean Manaea, Felix Hernandez in the final game of the road trip. Nasty pitch there, 90 miles an hour.
You have to, I mean, he's basically a 2-pitch pitcher, but he throws 99 with a fastball, and that slider thrown as hard as it was, you have to gear up for the fastball, and here comes the slider.
And that is a base hit left field on an 0-2 pitch. How about that?
I heard somebody the other day talk about, hey, they even shift for 2 strikes. There's a time to shift. You think he's going to pull this 99-mile-an-hour fastball?
Not
they
there.
are shifting him to the right side, one on the left side. And if there's ever time to go straight up with somebody, look at that. They think he's going to pull. There's no way. Even if he didn't have 2 strikes to pull a 99 like that. So Chris Davis does get the chance. Can he turn one of the 99 fastballs to right center? They're playing him to pull. And that big gap in right center, if he can unload with one.
A slider that spins inside to Davis. 3 home runs in this series for Davis.
Well, this is Vincent straight away center field, probably the cut fastball. I said fastball, but a cutter.
Swing 1-2, hard slider at 90 miles an hour.
He's staying slider, not giving him the fastball to try to see if he could do it. May get it now. Maybe try to get him to chase upstairs and then go back to slider. But Chris Davis has power to all fields and with any pitches.
And swinging, and that's the ball game. So Diaz saves it for the second night in a row for the Mariners, and just too much offense from Seattle tonight, and they have taken the first 2 games of this weekend series here in Seattle. So the A's see their record drop to 5-10 overall and 2-5 on this road trip. 3 hours and 32 minutes was your time of game. The attendance tonight here in Seattle, 29,013. Final score, Mariners 10, the A's 8. Time now for A's post-game live. Here is Jim Kozamore.
Let's go.